Chapter 2530. Lin Ruoxian had recovered earlier than Moon Death. Thus, she had gone out for a while and learned about what had happened outside. How strong is the 13th prince? Ling Xiao asked. He should be at the 7th level of the Yin-Yang realm. Lin Ruoxian thought for a while and said, "This is the most conservative estimate. The Chun Nation's royal family is the strongest family and faction in the Qin Nation. It is said that the Qin Nation's king has a total of 14 princes. The weakest is the 13th prince. However, even the weakest of them is the strongest existence in the 8 Immortals County. This is the disparity between them. Interesting. This is all the more reason to go to the royal capital." When Ling Xiao heard about the 13th prince's strength, he was not afraid. Instead, he was somewhat excited. If the Chun Nation's king's dumbest son was stronger than the strongest cultivator in the 8 Immortal City, then the royal capital would definitely be a treasure land. There is one more thing. The 13th prince probably wants to show off his strength in the 8 Immortal City. He wants to intimidate the local sects and let them know that the royal family is the true ruler here. Thus, he invited the 3 factions to bring all the cultivators who participated in the ox deity's maze to the 8 Immortals Palace, where he is staying, for a banquet. Lin Ruoxian continued, "The time is tonight. Thus, when I went out, the sect master specifically told me to tell you about this. 8 Immortals Palace? I have seen this palace before. Originally, I was wondering why no one lived in such a luxurious palace. After all this time, it turned out that it was specially prepared for the royal family." Ling Xiao frowned and said, "It looks like the Chun Nation's royal family is really strong in the Qin Nation. Of course. Otherwise, how could they become the royal family? It is said that 300 years ago, they snatched the throne from a child. They bullied a widow and her child. However, there is nothing they can do about it. After all, the mystic world is a place where the strong prey on the weak. Whoever has the biggest fist is the king. Otherwise, they are nothing." Moon Death spoke like a man. He was very straightforward and liked to curse. He wasn't as elegant as Lin Ruoxian. However, Ling Xiao felt that this was a kind of straightforwardness, so he didn't correct him. After all, in the profound world, beauty was only secondary. Whether or not a woman received respect and attention, the best way was to rely on her strength. Otherwise, it would just be a plaything in the hands of others. "Must I go?" Lin Ruoxian asked. "I'm worried that if we destroy the Heavenly Thunder Pit, the 13th prince will show us who's boss." "Don't be afraid. Whether we go or not, the 13th prince will do the same. If we don't go, it'll seem like we're afraid, and it'll give him a reason to find fault with us." Ling Xiao smiled and said, "We can't always hide in this courtyard. What's more, I really want to see the strength of the 13th prince. Even if I lose to him, it won't be embarrassing. What's there to be afraid of?" "That's true." Lin Ruoxian thought for a moment and said, "If it's a blessing, it's not a curse. If it's a curse, we can't avoid it. As long as the 3 of us work together. Do you think the 13th prince won't be afraid?" The reason why Ling Xiao dared to go to the banquet was because he was confident. He had now condensed a top-grade lightning battle body, and his cultivation had broken through to the early stage of the 6th level of the Yin-Yang realm. Therefore, the help that the butterfly lady could give him had naturally increased. If the 13th prince really wanted to deal with him, he just had to kill this guy first. In this world, there was nothing that Ling Xiao was afraid of. "Let's go. The sect master is probably waiting anxiously." Ling Xiao stood up. The matter of cultivation could be put aside for now. In any case, there was no point in staying here. For him, fighting was the best way to cultivate. Every time he experienced a big battle, his cultivation would always increase by a considerable amount. This made him slightly more battle-hungry now. After leaving his courtyard, Ling Xiao arrived at the sect master's hall. At this moment, the 8 great clans' patriarchs, the remaining elders, and all the martial artists who participated in the ox deity's maze were already here. Only the 3 of them were left. The moment Jian Kuan saw Ling Xiao, his expression changed drastically. During these days, Ling Xiao hadn't shown up. Sha Tongtian and Qi Lian hadn't returned either. Therefore, he thought that the three of them had perished together. Now that he saw Ling Xiao return alive, he actually felt a strong sense of worry. Jian Kuan, look at what you've done. Ling Xiao looked coldly at Jian Kuan, his killing intent clear. If not for the fact that he didn't want to reveal his strength before the Ox deity's maze battle, he really wanted to kill Jian Kuan right now. You, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Jian Kuan was the sword race's patriarch. In the past, he didn't take Ling Xiao seriously at all. Now he was extremely afraid of Ling Xiao. Moreover, he was afraid of Ling Xiao, not because of the divine codex, but because of this person. What I mean, you know very well in your heart. These days, I didn't find trouble with your sword race because I'm still a disciple of the 8 Immortal Mountain. I don't really want to do something that ruthless. But you, old bastard, actually want to kill me. Fine, I'll leave it at that. I'll definitely wipe out your sword race. And the sand race. That son of a B***TCH, Sha Tongtian, and Qi Lian actually used the thunder of immortality to deal with me. Luckily, I'm lucky. Otherwise, I'd really be dead. I told you to live peacefully. If you don't want to, then don't blame me, Ling Xiao, for being ruthless. Ling Xiao's killing intent spread throughout the sect master's hall. He didn't give sect master Lin Quan any face at all. However, Lin Quan was able to keep his composure. He only looked at Ling Xiao indifferently. He didn't seem to be angry at all. On the other hand, Lin Yu was furious. How dare you, Ling Xiao? This is the sect master's hall. You can't behave atrociously here. Lin Yu Tian scolded angrily. If you dare to touch a single hair of the sword race, I'll see if I'll let you off. The moment these words left his mouth, Jian Kuan's expression immediately changed drastically. He knew Ling Xiao's temper too well. The more he threatened him, the more he dared to do anything. I'm sorry, Sect Master Jian Kuan. If you want to blame someone in the underworld, blame that idiot Lin Yu Tian. He's the one who forced me to kill you. Ling Xiao sneered. He casually flicked out a blood-red thunder of immortality from his fingertips. The lightning didn't seem very powerful. However, the moment it touched Jian Kuan's body, it became extremely terrifying. Poor Jian Kuan. After all, he was a peak Yin-Yang Realm level 5 martial artist. Although he didn't have any Dharma treasures, he was still burned to death by the thunder of immortality. Lin Yu Tian, I killed Jian Kuan. What can you do to me? Ling Xiao looked at Lin Yu Tian mockingly and said with disdain, my lightning of immortality came from Qi Lian at the cost of his life and being unable to reincarnate. Why don't you try it too? You, what about me? If you have the guts, then attack. If you don't, then hold it in. Cut the crap. Ling Xiao looked at Lin Yu Tian with disdain. Although his cultivation wasn't as high as Lin Yu Tian's, there was still a gap between them. Chapter 2531. The thunder of immortality was one of the most powerful weapons in the world. As long as it was used properly, even the 13th prince would have to be wary of it. All right, stop arguing. Jian Kuan tried to kill Ling Xiao and deserved to die. Let's not talk about him anymore. Let's talk about tonight's banquet. I'm sure you all know what kind of person the 13th prince is. Don't be as arrogant in front of him as you are in front of me. Otherwise, don't blame me for not warning you when you get killed. Lin Quan's words were a warning to Ling Xiao. It was hard to tell if he was trying to provoke Ling Xiao so that Ling Xiao would cause trouble, or if he was afraid that Ling Xiao would cause trouble. But no matter what it was, Ling Xiao did not take it to heart. He wouldn't provoke others easily, but he hoped that the 13th prince wouldn't provoke him. Night fell. The 8 Immortals' palace in the 8 Immortals' county suddenly became lively. All the top martial artists from the 8 Immortals' mountain, the Heavenly Wind group, and the Duke of Yu's mansion had gathered there. They were waiting for the 13th prince, who had refused to show up. Ling Xiao was leaning against the wall, sipping wine while chatting with Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death. The 13th prince is really arrogant. We are all here, but he still refuses to show up. He really doesn't take us seriously. The person who spoke was a martial artist from the Heavenly Wind Group. Ling Xiao had never seen this person before, but Lin Ruoxian had. He told Ling Xiao that the 13th prince was Qin Bao, second only to Qin Beixian and Chen Xianfeng in the Heavenly Wind Group. Qin Bao was as hot-tempered as his name suggested. However, the 13th prince was getting impatient. Ling Xiao didn't pay much attention to the martial artists from the 8 Immortals Mountain. Instead, he took a closer look at the members of the Heavenly Wind Group. All the members of the Heavenly Wind Group were wearing armor. There were 3 types of armor: platinum armor, gold armor, and silver armor. This also meant that they were divided into 3 levels. There was only one person in the platinum rank, Yin Yang realm, 7th level of hell. It had to be the leader of the Heavenly Wind Group, Qin Changsheng. His strength was on par with the sect leader of the 8 Immortal Mountain, Lin Quan. He might even be on par with the 13th prince, but he was definitely much older than the 13th prince. The golden armor should be at the 6th level of the Yin Yang realm. Their numbers were similar to that of the 8 Immortals Mountain. One of them sat beside Qin Changsheng and stared at Lin Yuetian. If Qin Changsheng wasn't mistaken, it was Qin Beixian. Humph! That Qin Beixian thinks that Lin Yuetian is his only rival, but he doesn't know how powerful you are, Brother Ling Xiao. The Ox Deity's Labyrinth will definitely give him a big surprise. Moon Death was displeased by Qin Beixian's attitude toward Ling Xiao. It's fine. It's better to keep a low profile. After all, we can make a fortune by keeping a low profile. Ling Xiao smiled. When it was time to be in the limelight, he would naturally be in the limelight. When it was not time to be in the limelight, he was too lazy to compete. Suddenly, 2 slightly pressuring gazes were cast on him. Ling Xiao paused for a second and realized that it was Qin Changsheng. Qin Changsheng didn't know how old this old man was, but he looked like a young man. Ling Xiao knew why Qin Changsheng was looking at him. He was the one who killed this old man's son. He was the deacon of the Phantom Sect in the 8 Immortals County. Although this old man didn't say anything, he must be holding a grudge against Qin Changsheng. Ling Xiao snickered. If it was in the past, he would have been afraid of Qin Changsheng. But now he wasn't so afraid anymore. He even laughed and said, "Is the leader of the Heavenly Wind Group gay? Why do you keep looking at me? I'm not interested in that. How dare you? Who do you think you are? How dare you insult our leader?" Qin Bao roared. "Who do you think you are? How dare you make such a fuss in front of my brother Ling Xiao?" Before Ling Xiao could speak, Moon Death stood up and released a sharp aura. Qin Bao was so frightened that he shut his mouth. Moon Death was a first revolution Yin Yang realm 6th level of hell cultivator. Qin Bao was only a first revolution Yin Yang realm 5th level cultivator. He was nothing in front of Moon Death. "You are Ling Xiao." Before the Heavenly Wind Group's matter was settled, the Duke of Yu's residence stirred up another storm. The one who asked was the Duke of Yu himself. This old man had a head full of white hair and deep wrinkles on his face, but the power that emerged from his body was not inferior to Qin Changsheng's and Lin Quan's. He was also a first revolution Yin Yang realm 7th level of hell cultivator. Sitting near him were 5 Yin Yang realm level 6 hell martial artists in Yin Yang realm. One of them was Xiaofeng Canyue. There should have been 6 of them, but after Commander Chen was killed by Ling Xiao, only 5 were left. This commoner is Ling Xiao. "Greetings, Duke of Yu." Ling Xiao pretentiously stood up and cupped his hands in greeting. There were some pleasantries that needed to be said. "So you still know that you are just a commoner. You destroyed the 13th prince's Heavenly Lightning Pit and stole the Heavenly Thunder Jade essence. You even injured Xiaofeng Canyue when he was injured. I don't even know what despicable method you used to kill Commander Qin of my Duke of Yu's residence. What do you think you should say about this?" As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. They were all shocked that Ling Xiao could do such an earth-shattering thing without saying a word. What else can I say? The heavenly lightning pit is something that fell from the heavens. Even the royal family cannot take it for themselves. Since the heavenly thunder jade essence was willing to leave with me, then I am a virtuous person. But your Duke of Yu's residence wanted to kill me. I had no choice but to ask my master for help. Oh, that's right. You probably heard that my master was an expert from the golden heavenly nation. Although he left me a magic treasure. Unfortunately, in order to save my life, I used this magic treasure to kill Commander Qin. Alas, the next time someone does this to me, I can only ask my master to step in. Not to mention your tiny Duke of Yu's residence. Even the Chen nation would not be able to withstand her wrath. The reason Ling Xiao said this was to hide his strength and to let the 13th prince, who was eavesdropping outside the door here. Ling Xiao was not someone who could be bullied. If his master stepped in, the Chen nation's royal family would not be worth a fart. In any case, you are a man. Don't tell me you are going to hide behind your master. Can't you use your strength to prove yourself? As expected, the Duke of Yu was somewhat afraid. It was not that he believed Ling Xiao's words so easily. Rather, the spies he sent to the 8 Immortals Mountain had reported how terrifying that woman was. In addition, Commander Chen's death was unclear. It was impossible for Ling Xiao to kill him. All of this made him believe Ling Xiao's words. Idiot. Don't tell me you want the 13th prince to give up his identity as a prince? I say, Duke of Yu, have you become so old that you don't think before speaking? Ling Xiao sneered disdainfully. Logically speaking, with his status, he did not have the qualifications to speak with the Duke of Yu. Chapter 2532. Good, very good. Very good. I've long heard that you have a sharp tongue. Seeing it today, it's true. The Duke of Yu originally wanted to say a few more words to vent his anger, but he suddenly felt a familiar aura coming from outside. His eyes turned and he came up with a plan. He directly said, "That heavenly lightning pit belongs to the 13th prince. Do you still dare to quibble in front of him?" Ling Xiao sneered in his heart. This bastard clearly felt that the 13th prince had arrived, so he deliberately said this. Actually, the 13th prince had been outside for a while, but he had concealed his aura and didn't come in. Ling Xiao had previously pushed out the divine codex for that person to hear. Therefore, he wasn't afraid of the trap set by the Duke of Yu. I believe that the 13th prince is a reasonable person. Isn't it just a piece of heavenly lightning chalcedony? Don't tell me that he would bicker with a commoner like me. Ling Xiao sneered. Ha ha ha, well said. It's just a piece of heavenly lightning chalcedony. The door to the hall was suddenly pushed open, and an old man and a young man walked in. The young man looked to be around 17 or 18 years old. He wore a golden robe and his hair was combed until it shined. His body naturally released a terrifying aura that caused others to be afraid. A kingly aura suddenly descended upon the hall. This aura wasn't just powerful, it was also filled with pressure. This should be a special martial art that allowed him to have such a powerful and dignified aura, as expected of a member of the royal family. Ling Xiao had already guessed that this person should be the 13th prince. Otherwise, no one would have such a special aura that could cause most of the practitioners present to be submissive and kneel down. The only ones present that weren't affected by this aura were Chen Changsheng, Lin Quan, the Duke of Yu, as well as Ling Xiao and the 2 girls beside him. Behind the 13th prince were 2 girls. Their appearances were top-notch. Compared to the chubby and somewhat ugly 13th prince, the contrast was too obvious. But in the mystic world, ugliness didn't matter. Strength was the way of the king. Even Ling Xiao had to admit that the 13th prince, who wasn't even 20 years old, was definitely the strongest person present. The 13th prince walked straight to the throne that had been prepared for him, and then sat down boldly. The two women were also standing beside him, not to mention the 13th prince. Even these two women were martial artists at the peak of Yin Yang Realm Level 6. This was simply enviable. Chun Bao, who had been cursing and complaining about the 13th prince's late arrival, was now lying on the ground submissively, his body trembling uncontrollably. On the other hand, although Ling Xiao sat up straight, he didn't kneel. He only looked at this person from the capital indifferently. The 13th prince was a little surprised. Ling Xiao was actually unaffected by his king's sword qi, just like the other 3 peak experts. The two women beside Ling Xiao were clearly under Ling Xiao's protection. Originally, the 13th prince had wanted to show Ling Xiao who was the master of the banquet. However, he didn't expect to fail. However, he quickly regained his composure and withdrew his terrifying king's aura. He raised his hand and said, "Everyone rise. I was delayed because of some matters. It's my fault." This was a beautiful move. He used his aura to suppress others and then comforted them. This caused many of the people present to be so moved that they began to tear up. However, Ling Xiao looked at the 13th prince with a gloomy expression. The 13th prince was the key to the destruction of Ling Yan's family. Back then, this kid was only a child, but his heart was already very vicious. He didn't have a good impression of this person. He knew that today's banquet was a treacherous one. The 13th prince had specially prepared this banquet to show off his strength. If there wasn't an unlucky person, the 13th prince wouldn't be able to enjoy himself. However, he still came because he wasn't afraid at all. After sitting down, the 13th prince looked directly at Ling Xiao and said, "Everything under the heavens belongs to me. The heavenly lightning pit is my territory, but you destroyed it. Shouldn't you say something to me? Here it comes." Ling Xiao sneered in his heart. The 13th prince was really direct. The banquet had just begun, but he already wanted to blame Ling Xiao. Perhaps tonight's banquet was just a way for him to get back at Ling Xiao. "I've already said what needs to be said. Your Highness, didn't you hide outside and eavesdrop? Why ask when you already know the answer?" Many people were waiting to see Ling Xiao make a fool of himself. They were waiting to see Ling Xiao grovel. However, what they did not expect was that Ling Xiao was still sitting there, drinking his wine as he spoke casually. These words were full of sarcasm and sarcasm. He was implying that the 13th prince had a habit of eavesdropping. "How dare you?" The 13th prince didn't say anything. However, a woman beside him was furious. She directly drew her sword and stabbed it at Ling Xiao. Under such circumstances, no one dared to attack the 13th prince's people. Moreover, most of the people present were probably happy to see Ling Xiao die. She was a first transformation Yin Yang state level 6 martial artist. She was at the same level as Lin Yuetian. Although she wasn't as powerful as Lin Yuetian, she wasn't far behind. She suddenly attacked. So how could Ling Xiao survive? Originally, I wanted to take his dog life in the ox deity's maze. Who would have thought that he would come here to seek death? Xiao Feng Wanyue murmured coldly. The 13th prince won't just kill his enemies. This kid is in trouble. Duke Yu sneered. Thinking about how Ling Xiao had offended him, he was very pleased. He has such a sharp tongue. I wonder how powerful he is. Chen Chongxing and Qin Beixian also stared at Ling Xiao. They wanted to see what would happen to this sharp-tongued guy. However, at this moment, 2 figures flew into the air. One of them was holding a shield. A terrifying light was released from the shield. The 13th prince's woman didn't care at first, but she was shocked when she saw the sword in her hand turn to stone. She threw away her sword and dodged the light. Then, she continued to attack Ling Xiao from the side. She had many weapons and could take them out from her storage ring. However, even though she dodged the light, She couldn't dodge Moon Death's moonlight, soul-controlling needle. The woman felt a little dizzy at that moment. Although it was only a moment of dizziness, it was enough to be fatal in a battle between powerful cultivators. Ling Xiao took advantage of the opportunity and released the blood-red thunder of immortality. The woman screamed in agony as she was burned to ashes. The 13th prince didn't dare to save her because everyone could feel how terrifying the blood-red thunder was. No one had expected such an outcome. Ling Xiao was bold enough to kill the 13th prince's servant. Chapter 2533. Your Highness, you have to discipline your subordinates well. Otherwise, they will bring you trouble. Ling Xiao looked at the 13th prince with a smile and said, I didn't want to kill her, but I couldn't control the power of the thunder of immortality. Of course, he did it on purpose. From the moment that woman tried to kill him with her sword, he had already decided to kill her. He wouldn't wait for her to land a blow on him. Of course, he wasn't the most eye-catching fighter, but Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death. When did they reach the 6th level of hell? Everyone on the 8 Deity Mountain was shocked. Humph! I didn't expect Ling Xiao to be so weak, but the women around him are so strong. His master is also a woman. How hateful! How can this guy have such good luck? Jian Tianqin snorted as jealousy welled up in his heart. He was insanely jealous. By then, the sword race had completely declined in the 8 Deity Mountain. Jian Tianqin and Jian Lufeng had also become more obedient and didn't dare to provoke Ling Xiao anymore. However, they still cursed him in private. Beixian, Ling Xiao is nothing. His thunder of immortality has a low hit rate. Just be careful. Your opponents are still Lin Yuetian and Xiaofeng Wanyue. Of course, you have to be careful of the 2 girls from the 8 Deity Mountain. With their help, Ling Xiao might be able to cause some trouble. Chun Chongsheng said to Chun Beixian from the Heavenly Wind Group. Meanwhile, at the Duke of Yu's mansion, Duke of Yu also said to Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon, killing Ling Xiao is secondary. The key is to deal with Chun Beixian and Lin Yuetian. Remember that. The battle this time did not make people wary of Ling Xiao. Instead, they felt that he was a piece of trash who hid behind a woman and was not worth mentioning at all. However, the 13th prince's face was dark and gloomy. He had done a good job at first, showing the Wang family style to the fullest. However, because of Ling Xiao, he had lost his cool and became agitated. Killing this prince's personal attendant, are you prepared to die? The 13th prince finally lost control of his emotions. A terrifying aura was released. As a result, most of the martial artists present were trembling in fear. Originally, the 13th prince wanted to find someone to deal with him and give all the martial artists in the 8 Immortals County a show of strength. Now that Ling Xiao had delivered himself to his doorstep, he naturally wouldn't let him go. Die. Is the 13th prince prepared for the Chen state to be destroyed? Ling Xiao faced it calmly and smiled coldly. He absolutely could not admit defeat at this moment. Once he did, the other party would definitely make a move. If he did not admit defeat, the 13th prince would definitely be wary of him. It was just as he had expected. The 13th prince had always been wary of the divine grimoire. He had seen the scene of the 8 Immortal Mountains warriors being recruited. The divine grimoire was so powerful that even his father wouldn't dare to say that he could win, let alone him. You killed Qi Lian too? The 13th prince suddenly asked. Something like that. Crimson Viper used his life as the price to summon the undying lightning of the underworld to deal with me. Unfortunately, he failed. Ling Xiao said indifferently. He didn't know why the 13th prince would ask such a question, but there was nothing to hide. Good. Very good. This prince said that he wouldn't kill anyone before the Ox Deity Maze contest. So you can live until then. But remember, Qi Lian is this prince's woman. Just now, you killed this prince's personal attendant and destroyed this prince's heavenly lightning pit. You have a great enmity with this prince. After the ox deity maze, if you're still alive, you should know what to do, right? The 13th prince's words were clearly to give himself a way out. He didn't dare to kill Ling Xiao because the divine grimoire situation was unknown. That was why he said that. Of course, he also had another intention. He wanted to recruit Ling Xiao for his own use. If someone with such a powerful background became his man, then he would have an absolute advantage in the contest for the throne. Ling Xiao also understood these two intentions, but he smiled and said, "Since your highness won't kill me, then let's wait until the ox deity maze contest is over." He didn't give the 13th prince any face at all. This made the 13th prince's face even more ashen. "Tonight's banquet is over. See you in 6 days at the ox deity maze." He was worried that he couldn't control his emotions and that he would bring disaster to the Qin kingdom. So he ended the banquet early. As a matter of fact, the banquet had only lasted for a little over 20 minutes. The 13th prince left with his last remaining attendant. This banquet could be said to have ended on bad terms. Ling Xiao didn't wait for the others from the 8 Immortals Mountain. Instead, he left right after the 13th prince left. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death followed closely behind. These two girls now understood very well. Ling Xiao was not only a righteous person, but also a cultivation genius. Following Ling Xiao would allow their cultivation to improve even more. However, most of the gazes behind Ling Xiao were filled with respect or anger. Even the 13th prince didn't dare to deal with this guy. Wasn't this guy too arrogant? In the next 6 days, Ling Xiao focused on stabilizing his cultivation and honing his top-tier lightning battle body. Speaking of speed, it was indeed fast. It was also slow. 6 days passed in the end. Ling Xiao's cultivation also made a small breakthrough. He reached the mid-stage of the 6th stage of the Yin-Yang transformation stage. His dark nether slash, a top-tier jade grade martial skill, had even reached the transformation stage. This was all thanks to his constant sparring with Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death. Of course, these two girls also benefited a lot from this process. Although their cultivation didn't make a breakthrough, they both comprehended the first move of their family's top-tier jade martial techniques. They also improved their mastery to the greater mastery level. As a result, their battle prowess was greatly improved. Then, the three of them set off with the rest of the 8 Immortals Mountain and returned to the 8 Immortals Maze. Only a few people knew the exact location of the Ox Deity Maze. The 13th Prince was one of them. The competition this time was led by him, which was why the contestants were gathered here. The 3 major factions sent out 15 contestants each. However, in terms of strength, the 8 Immortals Mountain was still the strongest. After all, the 8 Immortals Mountain had ruled the 8 Immortals County for 15 years. The Heavenly Wind group was second. The Duke of Yu's family was the weakest, but they were not to be underestimated. Ling Xiao's arrival instantly caused a wave of angry gasps. Be it the Heavenly Wind group, the Duke of Yu's family, or even the 8 Immortals Mountain, they all hated him. They wanted to use this opportunity to kill him. Regarding this, Ling Xiao understood in his heart. However, other than Xiaofeng Wanyue, Lin Yuetian, and Chen Beixian, the rest of them were no more than ants in his eyes. If they wanted to die, he wouldn't show them any mercy. Whoosh! Suddenly, a giant flying sword flew out from the 8 Immortals' palace. Chapter 2534. The flywheel ship in the shape of a flying sword was large enough to accommodate all the contestants. Come on, follow me to the maze of the Ox Deity, the Sky, Thunder Mountain. The 13th Prince glanced at Ling Xiao coldly and then stopped paying attention to him. He seemed to have forgotten what happened 6 days ago. But Ling Xiao knew very well. The more the prince acted like this, the more he wanted to take revenge. But since he had chosen to go against the 13th Prince, he was not afraid of revenge. Half an hour later, the flying sword and airship arrived at their destination, the Sky Thunder mountain range. It was said that the Sky Thunder Mountain was the entrance to the Ox deity's maze. In the past, the Ox god built this maze in the Sky Thunder mountain range in order to punish those evil people. About 10,000 years ago, there was a guy called the Holy Emperor of Sky Thunder. He called himself the Holy Emperor, but what he did was unforgivable. Later, the Holy Emperor of Sky Thunder was trapped in the maze by the Ox deity and never came out. This time, whether you get the beast soul of the Ox deity or the inheritance of the Holy Emperor of Sky Thunder, you will be qualified to become a disciple of the Arcana Academy. When they arrived at the Sky Thunder Mountain, the 13th prince explained the conditions of the Arcana Academy's disciple selection. It was a little different from what they knew. What about the ownership of the 8 Immortals County? The Duke of Yu could not help but ask. That depends on who gets the beast soul of the Ox deity. The 13th prince replied. Hearing this, the three forces obviously put their focus on the beast soul of the Ox deity. As for the inheritance of the Holy Emperor of Sky Thunder, it would be best if they could get it after getting the beast soul of the Ox deity. If they could not get it, then so be it. For them, the ownership of the 8 Immortals County was more important than the qualification to become a disciple of the Arcana Academy. But Ling Xiao thought it was the same. Anyway, he did not enter the Ox deity's maze for the 8 Immortals County. In addition to the most powerful Holy Emperor of Sky Thunder, there are many evil people trapped in the Ox deity's maze. Although they are evil, each of them has an extremely powerful inheritance. The third place to become a disciple of the Arcana Academy will be determined by who gets the most powerful inheritance. The 13th prince continued. Weird. Ling Xiao suddenly frowned. What happened? Lin Ruoxian asked curiously. It's nothing. It's just that every time the 13th prince mentioned the words Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor, the dagger in my storage ring would have some sort of reaction. Could it be that there's some connection? Ling Xiao said with a frown. Maybe it's some kind of opportunity. That dagger should also be of the lightning attribute. It might be a relic of the Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor, Lin Ruoxian said. Forget it. After we enter, the most important task is to find a suitable inheritance for us. As for the Ox deity beast soul, we can leave it for later. Let those guys fight for it first. Ling Xiao smiled and said, those guys will definitely target the Ox deity beast soul. Yes, Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death were also a little excited. Once they got the inheritance of an ancient warrior, although they might not be able to become a genius, their strength and aptitude would definitely be greatly improved. Ever since they reached the 6th level of the Yin-Yang realm, they had made it their goal to go to the Imperial City. After all, people should strive for greater heights. Just as Ling Xiao, Lin Ruoxian, and Moon Death were discussing these matters, the 13th prince had already opened the entrance to the Ox deity maze. In the past, this entrance had been opened by the joint efforts of 13 peak experts from the royal capital. At that time, it took a total of 49 days before it was finally opened. However, the time it took to open the maze was no more than 3 days. After this time, the entrance would immediately close. When the 13th prince opened the entrance to the Ox deity's labyrinth, he had already warned everyone. You only have 3 days to move around in the maze. If you don't come out in 3 days, then you'll have to wait 49 days. So remember, although the inheritance is important, you have to save time. Otherwise, it'll be meaningless if you die inside. The 13th prince reminded them, okay, now you can enter the maze. The competition will last for 3 days. After 3 days, whoever obtains the Ox deity beast soul will be the final winner. Of course, there will be fighting during this period. If you're afraid of death, you can give up. Of course, no one would give up. Since they had already come this far, who would be willing to give up so easily? Everyone looked at the entrance to the Ox deity's maze. It was an open space between 2 towering trees. At this moment, a huge green whirlpool was constantly revolving. No one knew what was waiting for the contestants inside. Duke Yu's residents, Tianfeng Group, and 8 Immortal Mountain will enter the maze one after another. Remember, you only have 3 days. After 3 days, the maze will close, and it will open again after 49 days. If no one obtains the Ox Deity Beast Soul or the Thunder Deity Emperor's inheritance in 3 days, then it will only show the incompetence of the 8 Immortal Cities' martial artists. The Arcana Academy will not choose any of you as a disciple, and the ownership of the 8 Immortal City will be taken back by the royal family. We will send a new city guard here. The 13th Prince's words made many people's hearts tremble, because they all thought of one possibility. Could it be that the royal family was using this competition to weaken the strength of the 3 major factions and then effortlessly take back the ownership of the 8 Immortal City? But immediately they felt that it was not very likely. With the royal family's strength, they could just send a prince with a few personal attendants to easily overturn the 8 Immortal City. Was it really necessary to go through so much trouble? Therefore, such thoughts vanished into thin air. The 15 people from the Duke Yu's residence began to enter the maze. The 13th Prince was still explaining the situation. After entering, you will be sent to different places. Even I can't control this. So whether you can survive or not depends on your own luck. The moment Xiaofeng Waned Moon stepped into the green whirlpool, she coldly looked at Ling Xiao. For her, the Ox Deity Beast Soul was the most important, but killing Ling Xiao was also a must. The next group to enter the green whirlpool was the Tianfeng Group. In addition to Qin Beixian, Chen Xianfeng was also a person to watch out for. This guy knew how to be patient. If he had used all of his power against the Demon Shadow Sect, even the so-called demon envoy of the Demon Shadow Sect would not have been able to stop him. At that time, Ling Xiao thought Qin Xianfeng was just an idiot. However, it seemed that this guy was second only to Qin Beixian. Chapter 2535. After everyone from the Heavenly Wind Group had entered the maze, Lin Yuetian led the geniuses from the 8 Immortal Mountain into the green whirlpool. Ling Xiao, Lin Ruoxian, and Moon Death stood at the back. He released some of his soul power and injected it into Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death's soul realms. This way, even if they were teleported to different places, they would be able to reunite in the shortest time possible. After all, the 3 of them together were the most powerful. Ling Xiao, I don't expect you to help us obtain the beast soul of the Ox Deity in the maze, but I hope that you will not hinder the others. Lin Quan knew Ling Xiao's character well. He knew that he would not take the 8 Immortal Mountains seriously. After all, Ling Xiao had cut off all ties with them. The only reason he was still in the 8 Immortal Mountain was to obtain the right to enter the maze. Don't worry, Lin Quan. I don't have the time to deal with trash. You better hope that they don't come looking for trouble with me. Otherwise, I will not be merciful. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. You. Lin Quan's face darkened. Actually, you don't have to worry. The beast soul of the Ox Deity will belong to me. Even if all the geniuses are killed, the 8 Immortal Mountain will still retain control of the 8 Immortal County. This way, there will be more and more geniuses. Ling Xiao laughed heartily and stepped into the unknown space with the other 2. A total of 45 participants stepped into the Ox Deity's maze, causing the originally bustling sky, Thunder Mountain Range, to suddenly become cold and cheerless. I will return to the 8 Immortals' palace first. Those who wish to return with me can follow me. As he spoke, the 13th Prince released the flywheel ship in his hand. He then stepped into the ship and entered his room. At this time in his room, in addition to the remaining attendant, there was also a warrior who was completely wrapped in black leather armor. His aura was non-existent. He stood there as if he did not exist. And Pa, I saved you. Do you still remember what you promised me? The 13th Prince leaned back on the soft cushion, and the attendant beside him put grapes into his mouth. He asked calmly as he ate, Don't worry, Your Highness. In the past, I fused with the shadow black gourd, but Ling Xiao seized the place where I lived. If it weren't for His Highness saving me and granting me such a perfect earth demon body, I'm afraid I would have died without a burial place. Your Highness's business is my business. I am willing to serve you faithfully. And Pan knelt on one knee and said, if Ling Xiao was here, he would definitely recognize that this was the artifact spirit that escaped from the shadow black gourd. He was none other than the ancestor of the Dark Ones. His strength might not be any weaker than the 13th prince's, and he was still recovering. Very good. This king knows that you have a grudge with Ling Xiao, but Ling Xiao is one of the talents that this king wants to recruit. For the time being, let's not touch him, all right? The 13th prince said again, I will obey your highness' orders. And Pan nodded and said, however, that Ling Xiao is not someone who is willing to be under others. Your highness, you must think carefully, relying on his master. He doesn't even care about the royal family of the Chun kingdom. This king naturally knows, if he is lucky enough to survive the ox deity's labyrinth, then this king will naturally look for him. If this child is really like last time, then this king will naturally look for him. If the same thing happens again, then kill him for this king. The 13th prince said calmly, thank you, your highness. And Pan said excitedly, right now, the person he wanted to kill the most was Ling Xiao. It was Ling Xiao who caused him to lose the shadow black gourd and almost cause his soul to dissipate. He would never forget this deep hatred. At this moment, many martial artists from the 3 major factions had gathered on the airship. However, no one dared to approach the 13th prince's room. The airship started moving toward the 8 Immortals County. In the room, and Pai and the 13th prince were still discussing the ox deity's maze. Your highness, that ox deity beast soul is amazing, and Pai said, it's one of the 12 beast gods. Once you have it, your battle prowess will increase dramatically. Even if you can use it to its full potential, it will still be incredibly powerful. Are you really going to give it to those ants? And Pai couldn't help but ask, do you really think that's possible? The 13th prince chuckled coldly. Right now, my brothers are fighting each other for the position of crown prince. That's especially true of second brother and 14th brother. One is adept at politics, and the other is incredibly strong. If I don't give myself a bit of leverage, how could I possibly beat them? Your highness, and Pai said, you're saying that once those people get the ox deity beast soul, you'll take it for yourself. And Pai finally understood what the 13th prince was thinking. Taking it for myself doesn't sound good, the 13th prince said. The best thing would be for them to offer it up. Actually, it's not just the ox deity beast soul. I'm also interested in the legacy of Sage Emperor, Heavenly Lightning. Although, compared to the ox deity, he's not even on the same level. In the past, his cultivation base was only at the peak of the life-seizing level. However, there are some things in this guy's hands that I'm very interested in. At this point, the 13th prince chuckled coldly. I trust you, he continued, and that's why I'm telling you this. Sage Emperor Heavenly Lightning was originally a violet lightning bull, but after he took human form, he called himself the Sage Emperor. He was considered the most powerful entity under the 12 divine beasts, but the truth is he was like a frog at the bottom of a well. However, every single bone of this frog in the well had a large number of divine runes carved into it. There were 3 of them that I was very interested in. 3 divine characters? That's right. One of them is called the Lightning Spirit Text. It's used to store the power of the Violet Lightning Bull. If you can understand it, you'll be able to absorb 30 to 40% of its power. At the very least, you'll be able to achieve a breakthrough in your cultivation base. At that point, not even my genius 14th brother will be able to compare to me. With that, the 13th prince seemed to be filled with excitement and anticipation. The second divine character is called the Lightning Spirit Shield. Anyone who can turn the Violet Lightning Bull into their martial soul will be able to learn it. Its defense is extremely strong, and it's already at the first level of the immortal rank. Immortal grade martial skills are different from gold grade and jade grade martial skills. Although the first level is the weakest among the immortal grade martial skills, it's still superior to the jade grade. The third divine character is even more shocking. It's actually the second level of the immortal rank, the Heavenly Lightning Guard. Heavenly Lightning Guard? What kind of martial skill is that? And asked curiously. The 13th prince chuckled. You're really curious, aren't you? Well, there's no harm in telling you. The prerequisite for the Heavenly Lightning Guard is that you have to have a top-level lightning battle body. Chapter 2536. The 13th Prince continued. The condensed lightning clones are the Heavenly Thunder Guards. Their appearance could be that of a purple lightning bull, or they could be that of the caster themselves. These clones will increase their combat power according to the caster's strength. When the caster's strength reaches a certain level, the number of Heavenly Thunder Guards will increase. The higher the level of mastery, the stronger the individual combat power. When it reaches the lesser mastery, it will only have 50% of the caster's strength. When it reaches mastery, it will reach 60%. When it reaches mastery, it will reach 70%. When it reaches mastery, it will reach 80%. When it reaches transcendent, it will have 90% of the caster's strength. Once the caster's soul power reaches a certain level, the Heavenly Thunder Guards will be able to unleash 100% of the caster's strength. Of course, the Heavenly Thunder Guards can't equip magic treasures and don't have the martial soul of the caster. So, compared to the caster's 100% strength, they are still a lot weaker. And there can only be one Heavenly Thunder Guard that can reach 100% of the caster's strength. Even so, if I get it, I will be like a tiger that has grown wings. I have heard of such secret techniques before, but there are not many who can cultivate it successfully. Unfortunately, the Ox God's maze has restrictions. Only those who are at first transformation yin-yang stage and below can enter. Otherwise, with your Highness's strength, you will be able to get these things easily after entering. And Poseid. Yes, but I believe that no one will dare to go against my will. Whether it is the Ox God's beast soul or the Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor's inheritance, they are all mine. As he said this, Ling Zhao's figure suddenly appeared in his mind. Then his expression became ferocious. If that Ling Zhao dares to go against my will, I will have to kill him. What a coincidence! Ling Zhao did not expect this. Other than Lin Yuetian and Lin Ruoxian, he was teleported to the same place as the rest of the geniuses of the 8 Immortal Mountain. There was a thick fog here, and he could not see clearly. It was not wrong to call it a maze. As far as the eye could see, there were tall walls and deep passageways. It gave off a very strong sense of oppression. Not far away from here, there was a huge shadow of a human-shaped minotaur. They couldn't see his face clearly, but it gave everyone a fright. Big Brother Ling Zhao, the situation is not good. We seem to be surrounded. Moon Death ran to Ling Zhao's side and looked worriedly at the guys who were eyeing them covetously. Although they were all disciples of the 8 Immortals Mountain, these fellows still hated Ling Zhao to the core. Ling Zhao, it seems like even the heavens want you dead. Jian Tianqin held the supreme black demon sword in his hand and stared coldly at Ling Zhao. No one knew that after Jian Kuan died, he actually achieved a breakthrough in his cultivation due to his extreme anger. He had reached the early stage of the first revolution, Yin-Yang Realm's 6th level of hell. He had been hiding his strength all this time, waiting to fight Ling Zhao to the death. He had to avenge the Sword Clan. Otherwise, even if he died, he wouldn't have the face to see his father in the underworld. There was no doubt that Jian Tianqin was the strongest among these people. The rest were either at the peak of Yin-Yang Realm Level 5. The rest were at the advanced stage of Yin-Yang Realm Level 5. However, Some of them had the supreme treasures of their clans that could unleash the combat power of Inyang Realm Level 6. There was more than one of them. There were 13 of the 15 people here. Only Moon Death was on Ling Xiao's side. The rest of the 11 were all enemies. The situation looked very dangerous. However, Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with mockery. "It sounds like you want to kill me." Ling Xiao looked at Jian Tianqin and the rest with a smile and said, "I don't know what you are thinking. However, I hope you haven't forgotten what I said earlier. In the Ox Deity Maze, I will kill anyone who attacks me. I will not show mercy." He believed that the upper echelons of the 8 Immortal Mountain must have discussed how to deal with Ling Xiao and kill Ling Xiao. They wouldn't have dared to attack Ling Xiao outside. However, things were different in the Ox Deity Maze. If Ling Xiao died, even if the Divine Book came, it could be explained that he had been killed by the monsters in the Ox Deity Maze. They wouldn't be blamed for it. You don't have to be an alarmist. You are only relying on Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death. Now that Lin Ruoxian is not here, Moon Death alone can't stop us. Moon Death, listen carefully. If you abandon the dark side and join the light side, you can still save your life. If you follow Ling Xiao to the end, you will definitely die. Jian Tianqin had finally unleashed his terrifying cultivation. This made the geniuses, who were still worried, calm down. What a joke! You want me to abandon Brother Ling Xiao? Dream on! Moon Death's attitude was very clear. Needless to say, she was well aware of how terrifying Ling Xiao's strength was. Even if she didn't know, she wouldn't abandon Ling Xiao just because she was afraid. This had happened before. Even when she was in a life-or-death situation, she didn't abandon Ling Xiao. Stubborn. Brother Tianqin, you stop Moon Death. The 10 of us will join forces to deal with Ling Xiao. We can definitely kill him. He is only relying on the immortal thunder. In order to kill Ling Xiao, the sect leader gave each of us a lightning trap talisman. It can last for half an hour. That's enough to kill Ling Xiao. Jian Lufeng thought that Ling Xiao's cultivation was still at the peak of level 5 of hell. He was only relying on the immortal thunder. Since the immortal thunder was no longer a threat, what were they afraid of? All right. Jian Tianqin nodded. He then looked at Ling Xiao and said, "Just you wait. I'll kill the woman you care about the most and make you suffer so much that you'll wish you were dead. You despicable dog from a remote town. Don't think about stepping on the heads of the 8 great families. We are nobles. You're just a despicable dog." That's right, this despicable dog. He's lucky to have met a good master. He doesn't care about the sect leader and the elders. Today we must kill him so that we can comfort our departed spirits. With his shadow black gourd, Moon Death's moonlight soul-controlling needle, and that Lin Ruoxian snake hairstone shield, our 8 Immortal Mountain will definitely win. Jian Lufeng shouted excitedly. A bunch of idiots. Ling Xiao looked at these clowns indifferently. If he wanted to kill these 11 people, it would be as easy as flipping his hand. Since they wanted to die, he would take the opportunity to snatch all their treasures. Once he gathered all 8 treasures, he would be able to rescue Sire Shui from the ghost prison's 5th level. Sire Shui helped him a lot last time. He hasn't forgotten. Chapter 25:37. Moon Death, don't get involved in this battle. Just watch from the sidelines. Ling Xiao said to Moon Death with a smile. Then he looked at the 11 people in front of him mockingly. Okay, Brother Ling Xiao, I'll help you and keep an eye on the surroundings. It was precisely because he understood Ling Xiao's strength that Yu Shang did not insist on making a move. Does this guy really want to die? Jian Lufeng furrowed his brows. He simply could not understand why Ling Xiao would think that he could deal with so many enemies under such circumstances. I don't care if he wants to die. In this case, I'll kill him myself. The rest of you, keep an eye on Moon Death. Don't let her do anything rash. Jian Tianqin was happy to see Ling Xiao's plan. In fact, He did not want to deal with Moon Death. What he wanted to do most was to kill Ling Xiao with his own hands. Only in this way could he feel the thrill of revenge. I have to be involved in Ling Xiao's death. And Ming stood out and said, "This guy took away our dark tribe's dark shadow gourd. I have to get it back with my own hands." Okay, in this case, you can help from the sidelines. Jian Tianqin glanced at Ming. This woman was quite beautiful and powerful. She was a perfect match for Jian Tianqin. He had to leave a good impression on Ming. "Thank you." And Ming was very grateful that Jian Tianqin gave her this opportunity. Otherwise, who would she vent her anger on if Ling Xiao died? The supreme black demon sword in Jian Tianqin's hand was emitting a terrifying light. The quality of this sword was of the same level as the Black Fairy Sword. The full name of the Black Fairy Sword was also the Supreme Black Fairy Sword. In this case, these two swords should be a set of weapons. Ling Xiao was very interested in this sword. With the Black Demon Sword in his left hand and the Black Fairy Sword in his right hand, his strength would be greatly enhanced. 2 people? That's too little. If anyone wants to die, all of you can do it together. I'm not as shameless as you guys. If I say that I won't let Moon Death interfere, I definitely won't let her interfere. You guys can rest assured. Ling Xiao looked coldly at the crowd before him. He did not seem to care about Jian Tianqin and Ming. "You're courting death. Since that's the case, I'll join in as well." Jian Lu Feng stepped forward. "And me." Hai Wuzuan also stood out. "Of course not." Sha Feiyue and Sha Menglong also stood up. These people all had a deep grudge against Ling Xiao. As for the rest of the people, they didn't have any deep grudges against Ling Xiao. Therefore, they chose to wait and see. They only stared at Moon Death and didn't plan to make a move. "All right, it's the 6 of you then." Ling Xiao smiled faintly, pulled out the white jade flying dragon sword, and faced the 6 enemies calmly. "Bastard, are you looking down on us? Why aren't you using your black deity sword?" Sha Feiyue said indignantly. She was wearing a golden Dharma artifact, the golden sand hand. Her golden sand hand was at the same level as the black demon sword and the black deity sword. Yet, Ling Xiao dared to use the white jade flying dragon sword. It was clear that he didn't take them seriously. "Hee, I don't need the black deity sword to deal with the 6 of you. If it were Lin Yuetian, Chen Beixian, or Xiaofeng Wanyue, I might use the black deity sword." Ling Xiao cracked a smile and said, "Cut the crap. Don't you want to kill me? Hurry up. I have something important to do." "If that's the case, let's not hold back. Use your most powerful attacks." Jian Tianqin wasn't going to talk about fairness with Ling Xiao. He was a little worried about Ling Xiao's black deity sword. However, since Chan Fan didn't use it, things were much easier. Very well. The other 5 didn't care about fairness or morality with Ling Xiao either. They just wanted Ling Xiao dead. In order to prevent Ling Xiao from regretting his decision, they were going to use their most powerful attacks to kill Ling Xiao. Jian Tianqin's sword martial spirit released a powerful sword intent. The black demon sword in his hand became more powerful. The surrounding air was constantly being torn apart, as if a piece of cloth was being torn apart. A terrifying demonic shadow formed behind him and then completely merged with the astonishing sword light. It pierced towards Ling Xiao. For a moment, the black wind rolled, shocking everyone. Demon sword martial art. Demon shadow of the heavenly sword. This terrifying move could only be unleashed with the black demon sword, or the black demon sword had to completely recognize its master. Jian Tianqin's move was so powerful that it was comparable to the full force attack of a martial artist at the middle stage of level 6 of Hell in Yinyang Realm. It was terrifying. Sha Feiyue was not as powerful as Jian Tianqin. Although she had the golden sand hand, her attack was only as powerful as an early stage Yin-Yang transformation, 6th level of Hell. Moreover, she hadn't comprehended the golden sand hand. She was still using the Black Sun Sand Hand of the Sand Clan. With the help of the Golden Sand Hand, her body turned into a black sandstorm. She pounced on Ling Xiao with a powerful aura. As for Jian Lufeng and Ming, Hai Wuzuin, and Sha Menglong, they were using inferior, top-tier, jade, grade martial arts. Firmament, Sword Print, Dark Shadow Strike, Dark Night Nameless, Black Sun Sword Technique. The 6 of them were all using their best moves. They were all using their full strength. They didn't want to hold back. They didn't dare to hold back. If they couldn't kill Ling Xiao with one attack and let Ling Xiao react, they would be in trouble. However, facing the powerful attacks of the 6 people, Ling Xiao didn't even use his beast soul transformation. He didn't use his top-tier thunder body. At this moment, he was holding the white jade flying dragon sword and looking at his opponents indifferently. I don't even need to use inferior, top-tier, jade, grade martial arts to deal with you guys. The first 2 moves of the Dark Shadow martial arts are enough. Sword Cry Een Mountain. Sword rends the underworld. When these 2 moves were executed by Ling Xiao, it caused the spectators at the side to be extremely shocked. They found that the power of the advanced jade, grade martial arts used by Ling Xiao was even more terrifying than the top-tier jade, grade martial arts used by the 6 people. For a moment, the Een Mountain was endless. Underworld Phantom, a black dragon, was hovering in the sky. The 6 people fighting Ling Xiao all felt the terrifying pressure. Except for Jian Tianqin, the rest of them couldn't breathe. Terrifying! This guy's aptitude is too heaven-defying. Why do I feel that we've offended someone we shouldn't have? Luckily, I didn't make a move. The people standing at the side were all trembling with fear, not to mention the people fighting Ling Xiao. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Go to hell, Ling Xiao. Jian Tianqin roared in anger. He didn't believe that the 6 of them and the 2 family treasures couldn't kill Ling Xiao. At this very moment, he had already lost the most basic ability to judge. In an instant, all the attacks of the 6 people were disintegrated. Chapter 2538. Jian Tianqin and the other 5 had a small but fatal sword wound on their throats. I told you, the 6 of you are not enough, Ling Xiao said indifferently as he put away the white jade flying dragon sword and looked coldly at the 6 bodies that were already on the verge of collapse. Why? Why? I don't understand. Jian Tianqin's sword was stuck in the ground. His body was so weak that even moving was a problem. He could only mumble to himself, exhausting his remaining energy. And Ming looked at Ling Xiao, dumbfounded. Her eyes gradually lost their luster. She did not understand. Until she died, she did not understand how the lowly person she used to despise could have such terrifying strength. Jian Lufeng was also on his last breath. He was panicking and regretting. It all started with what he did to Ling Zhao's sister, Ling Zhao. At that time, he was still a proud and powerful swordsman. In front of him, Ling Xiao was not even worth a fart. Could it be that he was really wrong? Hai Wuzuin, Sha Feiyue, and Sha Menglong all fell to the ground. At the moment when their consciousness was about to leave, they only felt regret and fear. They were going to die. Everything was over. Bang! Bang! Finally, all 6 of them fell to the ground and lost consciousness. Jian Tianqin was unwilling to accept his fate. He died with his eyes wide open. Ling Xiao once said that he would kill anyone who wanted to kill him. This was his most basic principle. Therefore, no matter how strong or weak the opponent was, he would not show mercy. He didn't have that much sympathy to use. In fact, he had given these people many chances. Even when he killed Jian Kuan, he did not affect Jian Tianqin and Jian Lufeng. However, these 2 people were courting death. How could he not send them on their way? Do the 5 of you still want to fight? Ling Xiao looked at the remaining 5 people. He did not mind letting these people live if he did not have a deep hatred for them. They hurriedly shook their heads. How could they dare to fight with Ling Xiao? Today's scene was really too shocking. Who would have thought that he, who had offended many people when he first joined the Eight Immortals Mountain, would still be alive today? Furthermore, he had such terrifying strength. This kind of genius was not someone they could afford to offend. This was a genius, but also a devil. Very good. Since you don't want to die, then hand over all your magic treasures, Ling Xiao said indifferently. Kong Yu of the Sky Clan was about to speak, but was stopped by Toriyama Akira. At this time, it was more important to save his life. He could give up his Dharma treasures. Although Kong Yu was extremely unhappy, he still handed over the magic treasure. In front of them, Ling Xiao erased the spiritual sense on the magic treasures and stuffed them into his storage ring. At this point, all 8 treasures were in their hands. Other than Moon Death's Moonlight, Soul-Controlling Needle, and Lin Ruoxian's Snake Hair Shield, the rest were in Ling Xiao's hands. Let's go, Moon Death! Ling Xiao called out to Moon Death and left this place. Of the 15 geniuses of the 8 Immortals Mountain, 6 died in an instant, and all the magic treasures were taken away by Ling Xiao and the other 2. It could be said that at this time, the only one who could compete was Lin Yuetian. But then again, Ling Xiao would also compete for the divine Ox Beast Soul. In this way, the 8 Immortals Mountain would still have the qualifications to rule the 8 Immortals City. However, the Sword Clan, Dark Clan, and Sand Clan were completely destroyed. After losing their top geniuses, it was really difficult to cultivate them again. As they watched Ling Xiao leave, the remaining 5 geniuses' eyes were filled with rage, but they were mostly filled with fear and uneasiness. Brother Ling Xiao, it's not a problem to kill them. Anyway, it's normal to die in the Ox God Maze. But you took all the magic treasures of the 8 Immortals Mountain. Other than our Moon Clan, I'm afraid the other 8 clans will fight you to the death. On the way, Moon Death said worriedly, "What's there to be afraid of? In the 8 Immortals Mountain, I'm not afraid of anyone except Lin Quan. If I can get the divine Ox Beast Soul, I'll be a disciple of the Arcana Academy. Who would dare to hurt me? Even without the protection of my master, they'll still have to be respectful to me." Ling Xiao said casually, "Brother Ling Xiao, you're so free and easy. I don't have that kind of free and easy heart." Moon Death was a little nervous just now, but after hearing Ling Xiao's words, she didn't care anymore. Let's go and find Sister Ruoxian first. It won't be too late to search for the divine Ox Beast Soul after the 3 of us meet up. Ling Xiao's plan was very clear. Anyway, the rule was 3 days. Within these 3 days, no one was allowed to leave early. Only on the 3rd day, 1 hour before the Ox God Maze closed, could they leave. Therefore, he wasn't in a hurry to compete for the divine Ox Beast Soul. It was easier to let others help him find it. Now that the 3 of them were in one place, if they encountered a strong enemy, they would have a higher chance of survival. Although this place was indeed a maze, to Ling Xiao, a maze was actually nothing. Especially since he had a soul connection with Lin Ruoxian, it was easy to find him. Not good. Sister Ruoxian seems to be in trouble. Moon Death, speed up. Ling Xiao hugged Dushang by the waist and then suddenly used wolf traversal, traversing through the Ox God's maze at a terrifying speed. Along the way, they encountered many monsters, but Ling Xiao didn't even look at them. He directly used his body to knock them away. In less than 5 minutes, he found Lin Ruoxian. At this time, Lin Ruoxian's injuries weren't too serious. It seemed like he didn't fight the enemy head-on, but chose to escape. Sister Ruoxian, what happened? Ling Xiao asked worriedly while treating Lin Ruoxian's injuries. My luck wasn't too good. I met the Duke of Yu's residents and the Tianfeng group. They joined forces. It seems like they had already agreed on this outside. They will deal with the 8 Immortals Mountain together, and the 8 Immortal City will be ruled by the Duke of Yu's residents. As for the Ox God Beast Soul, it will belong to the Tianfeng group. Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon will receive the inheritance of the Holy Emperor Tianlei. Lin Ruoxian explained. What about Lin Yuetian? That guy didn't show up? Ling Xiao asked curiously. No. After that guy entered the ox deity's maze, it was as if he suddenly disappeared. Lin Ruoxian shook his head. Humph, what a cunning guy. Forget it, let's ignore him. What about the Tianfeng group and the Duke of Yu's residence? Ling Xiao snorted and asked. I used the special effect of the snake hair petrification shield to avoid their pursuit. However, it seems like they don't want to let me go, other than Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon, Qin Beixian and Chen Xianfeng. The rest are looking for me. Lin Ruoxian replied. Other than the three of them, the rest are all trash, not worth mentioning. Where did the three of them go? They are heading for the location of the ox god beast soul. I don't think we can make it in time. The three of them seem to have gotten the news beforehand and knew where the ox god beast soul was. Chapter 2539. Brother Ling Xiao, let's go and fight for the beast soul of the ox god. Moon Death said eagerly. No, even if they're working together now, human greed can make this kind of alliance fragile. Plus, whoever gets the beast soul of the ox god first won't win. Don't forget that the rule is to have the beast soul of the ox god within 3 days. We just have to take it from them. Ling Xiao shook his head and said, Let's go and find the inheritance of the Tianlei sacred emperor while they're fighting for the beast soul of the ox god. That makes sense. The fight for the beast soul of the ox god is too intense. The three of us together might not be a match for Chen Beixian and Xiaofeng Wanyue. Why don't we get the inheritance of the Tianlei sacred emperor first? Ling Xiao, do you know where the inheritance of the Tianlei sacred emperor is? Lin Ruoxian agreed with Ling Xiao, but the inheritance of the Tianlei sacred emperor seemed to be even more elusive than the beast soul of the ox god. After all, the beast soul of the ox god could be found as long as they could pass through the maze. However, the Tianlei sacred emperor was sealed somewhere in the maze. It wasn't easy to find it. Follow me. Ling Xiao certainly knew where the Tianlei sacred emperor was sealed. Although he didn't have a map, he knew where the thunder energy was the strongest. That was where the Tianlei sacred emperor was sealed. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death certainly didn't suspect that Ling Xiao was leading the way. They followed closely behind. About 20 minutes later, after taking a few turns, they broke through a few strange barriers of array formations. Ling Xiao finally stopped. At that moment, astonishment appeared in the eyes of the three men. The scene in front of them had completely changed. The dark and damp maze had turned into a giant forest. The spirit chi in the forest was even more abundant than on the 5th level of the ghost prison. They could feel their power increasing just by taking a breath. This made the three of them extremely shocked. However, that was not all. In this forest filled with spiritual energy, there were actually a large number of fruit trees. If they were just ordinary fruit trees, they wouldn't be so surprised. The problem was that these fruit trees were actually the legendary mystical fruit trees. In other words, the fruits they grew naturally had the effect of a mysterious grade pill. If a martial artist ate it, it would naturally be of great benefit to their cultivation. How can there be so many mysterious fruit trees? If the people outside knew about this, I'm afraid they would go crazy. Lin Ruoxian said in surprise, That's right. I heard from my father that a mysterious fruit tree is enough to turn the members of the royal family against each other. It is impossible for a sect like ours to obtain such a thing. But now, how many trees were there? There should be at least 1,000 of them. Moon Death was also trembling with excitement. Originally, she thought that following Ling Xiao would definitely bring about good things, but she didn't expect it to be such a good thing. There's no need to be so excited. It's just some low-grade and mid-grade, profound grade fruit trees. I can still refine pills of this grade. Don't be in a hurry to pick them. Let's walk a little further. To be honest, very few people could resist such a huge temptation. However, Ling Xiao wasn't interested in it. He only transplanted a large number of mid-grade, profound, grade fruit trees into the mountain river world. Although he didn't need these things, the Heavenly Empire did. With these trees, they could produce a large number of mid-grade, profound, grade spirit fruits. With these fruits as materials, it was possible to refine high-grade, profound, grade pills. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death swallowed their saliva, surprised that Ling Xiao's storage ring was so huge. In fact, how could a storage ring store these things? The trees could only be stored in a ring called the spiritual plant ring. This spiritual plant ring was similar to the beast ring. They were both special storage rings that could ensure that plants and beasts would not die. However, Ling Xiao had the mountain river world, so there was no need for such a thing. Even the storage ring on his hand was just a cover, to prevent others from knowing the secret of his mountain river world. The three of them continued to walk forward for a while, when a towering tree suddenly came into view. This is a high-grade, profound grade spirit tree. Lin Ruoxian shouted excitedly. Yes, Ling Xiao nodded, looking at the densely packed red fruits on the towering tree. He was extremely excited. This is a blood spirit fruit tree. Although the name sounds scary, it's actually a very good thing. Not only can the blood spirit fruit heal injuries, it can also increase the strength of the body. This is a high-grade, profound grade spirit fruit. One fruit is worth at least 100,000 low-grade spirit stones. There are at least 1,000 fruits on this tree, so it's worth more than 100 million low-grade spirit stones. Hearing Ling Xiao's analysis, Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death were even more shocked and even a little overjoyed. Big brother Ling Xiao, congratulations. You need this the most when refining pills. With the blood spirit fruit, you can refine a high-grade, profound grade blood spirit pill, right? Moon Death said excitedly. That's right. A high-grade, profound grade blood spirit pill can be said to be an immortal medicine at this stage. An injury caused by a yin-yang realm warrior can be healed within a minute by eating a blood spirit pill. The effect is terrifying. Ling Xiao nodded. Isn't that invincible? Moon Death said in surprise. It's not invincible. Although the blood spirit pill is effective, its effect will decrease if too many are used in a short period of time. Moreover, it's not easy to refine this thing. By the way, let's not talk about this. Put some blood spirit fruits in each of your storage rings. Although the effect of the blood spirit fruit is not as good as the blood spirit pill, it's a good thing to save your life in this ox deity's maze. Ling Xiao said. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death did not hesitate, nor did they refuse. They knew very well that Ling Xiao planned to take this tree away. The two of them each took 100 blood spirit fruits and ate one on the spot. After eating it, their injuries were healed. Even the exhaustion from the journey and battle was completely gone, especially Lin Ruoxian. She had been injured before, but now she felt completely fine. Ling Xiao smiled and put the blood spirit fruit tree into the mountain river world. It seemed that he was quite lucky in this trip to the ox deity's maze. The three of them continued forward. After walking for more than 10 minutes, another giant tree appeared in front of them. This was also a high-grade, profound grade spirit tree, the Thunder Fire Mangfruit tree. This tree was slightly inferior to the blood spirit fruit tree from before, but it was excellent for Ling Xiao. This was because the Thunder Fire Mang's greatest effect was to increase the inner strength of lightning-attributed warriors and help them temper their combat body. Ling Xiao felt that the rumored peak grade combat body was not the highest. Although it was called a peak grade combat body, perhaps some warriors were limited by their strength, so they named it that way. He wanted to know what other changes there would be after the peak grade lightning combat body. Chapter 2540. My luck is not bad. Collect. Ling Xiao waved his hand, and the thunder fire mango tree was uprooted from the thick soil. Then a huge black hole appeared behind him. The fruit tree slowly moved into it. However, at this moment, a loud shout was heard. "How dare you, thief! Stop!" The voice was still very far away, but it was very loud. Ling Xiao could see that there were two figures rushing over from afar. Their speed was extremely fast, and their strength was also extremely strong. They were both at the peak of the 6th level of the Yin-Yang realm. However, they were definitely not contestants. Ling Xiao naturally wouldn't stop what he was doing just because of a roar. This thunder fire mango tree was extremely helpful to him. Not only could it increase his lightning power, but it could also increase his lava power. Perhaps his lava battle body would also be improved because of this. How could he give up? Before the other party arrived, he forcefully sent the thunder fire mango tree into the mountain river world. When the towering tree entered the mountain river world, not only would its growth not slow down, but it would also increase by 100 times due to the special effects of the mountain river world. This could provide Ling Xiao with a large amount of alchemy materials. In addition, the thunder fire mango and blood spirit fruit tasted extremely good. The former was sweet and sour, but it wasn't cloying. The latter was even more fragrant and sweet. It could also be used as a snack to fill his empty stomach. "Good boy, you're courting death." Seeing that Ling Xiao kept shouting, the people who came were furious. They actually attacked at the same time, attacking Ling Xiao at lightning speed. Although they didn't greet each other, Lin Ruoxian, Moon Death, and Ling Xiao had a rare tacit understanding. Ling Xiao punched out and blocked one of the attacks. However, because he was in a hurry, he was blasted back dozens of steps and broke many trees. Moon Death and Lin Ruoxian joined forces to block the other person's attack, relying on Dharma treasures. Although their cultivation wasn't as high as the other parties, they weren't too miserable. Although they were pushed back hundreds of steps, at least they weren't seriously injured. The two people who launched the surprise attack didn't seem to have expected that their attack wouldn't be able to kill the audacious fellow. Therefore, he actually stopped his attack and looked a little surprised. At this moment, Ling Xiao finally got a good look at their faces. No, he really couldn't be considered a human. One of them was incomparably tall, at least 4 to 5 meters tall. There were 9 snake heads on his back, flicking their tongues. It was incomparably terrifying. Other than his face, his entire body was wrapped in snake scales. One look and one could tell that he was a ferocious character. The other one was a woman. It was also in human form, but there was a crescent-shaped mark on its forehead. On its back was a pair of wings that emitted gentle moonlight. In his hand was a crescent-shaped shovel. He was riding on a white demonic tiger. This demonic tiger strength was actually at the early stage of the 1-star Yin-Yang realm level 6 of hell. Sure enough, nothing in this world is cheap. Ling Xiao frowned. These two fellows, together with that white tiger, were not to be trifled with. If one of them came, he could still deal with it. But if 2 came, it would be a headache. 3 was even more troublesome. This was probably even more troublesome than Chun Beixian and Xiaofeng Wanyue. You two be careful. Don't fight head-on. Just stall for time. Once the battle starts, I'll kill one of them as soon as possible and then go help you. Although it was troublesome, Ling Xiao wasn't the kind of person who would give up easily. He couldn't return the thunder fire mang fruit tree or the blood spirit fruit tree. So, this battle was unavoidable. Fortunately, he wasn't weak and was stronger. He wasn't a fish on the chopping board. If he really couldn't, he could use the power of the butterfly. Of course, there was no need for that at the moment. True battles were the only way to increase one's strength. This was Ling Xiao's usual style. He didn't like to ask the butterfly for help when he encountered a little trouble. It was a bit embarrassing. You two, we have no grudges. Don't you think it's a bit too abrupt to suddenly attack? Of course, if he didn't have to fight. Ling Xiao didn't want to waste time here. He could feel that the inheritance of the heavenly thunder sacred emperor was not far away. The guy with 9 snake heads behind his back said arrogantly, "Ants, put down the thunder fire mang fruit tree and the blood spirit fruit tree. We can let you go, otherwise, don't blame us for being ruthless. I'm more than willing to trample you ants to death." "Why?" Ling Xiao asked. "Because we are General 9 Snake and General Lung Yu under the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor. These things all belong to the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor," General 9 Snake said coldly. Funny, even the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor was trapped in the maze of the Ox God. These things should belong to the Ox God. What does it have to do with him? Ling Xiao sneered. "So, you're not going to hand them over?" General 9 Snake's face darkened. "So what if I don't hand them over? Unless the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor comes back to life. Otherwise, I'm not afraid of you too," Ling Xiao said with disdain. "Humph. Although our strength hasn't recovered to its peak, which is the peak of the 18th level of hell in the first transformation yin-yang state. But it's more than enough to deal with you 3 ants. If you don't want to die, you'd better be obedient. Otherwise, it'll be too late for regrets." General 9 Snake snorted. "9 Snake, don't talk nonsense with them. Just kill them. We can use their qi and blood to recover our cultivation," General Lung Yu suddenly said. "Okay." General 9 Snake stopped talking nonsense with Ling Xiao and looked at General Lung Yu. "Leave this kid to me. Is it okay to leave the 2 women to you?" General Lung Yu chuckled. "Piece of cake, but you be careful. That kid is a bit strange. Although he's not as good as you, don't fail miserably. What a joke. Killing him is as easy as flipping my hand." General 9 Snake suddenly bent his legs. Whoosh! His body suddenly disappeared. If one didn't have dynamic vision, they wouldn't have been able to see him clearly. "Both of you, remember what I said. Stall for time." After saying that, Ling Xiao didn't waste any more time and directly pulled out the black deity sword. He could feel that the strength of this General 9 Snake in front of him was not inferior to Qin Beixian and Lin Yuetian. It was worth it for him to use the black deity sword. On the other side, Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death were also fighting with General Lung Yu. Although their cultivation wasn't as good as the other party, they cooperated well and had 2 Dharma treasures to play tricks on others. For a moment, they were not at a disadvantage. "Kid, you're still far from being able to do that. Just surrender." One of the snake heads bit Ling Xiao's black deity sword. General 9 Snake showed a contemptuous expression. It wasn't a deliberate act. It was more like the contempt of a god for mortals. It wasn't strange. He used to be the subordinate of the divine Thunder Emperor and had reached the 18th level of hell in the first transformation yin-yang state. Why would he care about an ant like Ling Xiao? Chapter 2541. "Kid, you'd better surrender, or you'll die a horrible death." The General of 9 Snake never looked at Ling Xiao, as if Ling Xiao was really a lowly ant that was not worthy of his attention. "Haha, maybe you've been here for too long and have become a frog at the bottom of the well." Ling Xiao sneered. He suddenly twisted the black deity sword, and the terrifying sword Qi broke the 2 poisonous fangs of the tongue. Then he stepped back and readied himself for another attack. Ever since he reached the mid-stage of the 6th level of hell, he had not fought with a martial artist at the peak of this level. This was the first time. The General of 9 Snake was even weaker than Qin Beixian. If he couldn't even kill this guy, then he wouldn't be able to fight Qin Beixian. "You ungrateful thing. Since you're so stubborn, then I'll kill you." The General of 9 Snake's pupils suddenly turned into a weird flat shape like a snake's and emitted a poisonous gas. In that instant, it was as if he had transformed from a humanoid being into a terrifying evil spirit that wanted to take his life. Black striped flying tiger beast soul transformation. Ling Xiao didn't dare to be careless when dealing with this monster. He entered the transformation state, and a pair of black, striped wings appeared on his back. His entire body became extremely ferocious. Oh, a beast soul martial artist? Looks like you're related to the 12 beast gods. Never mind. Ox God trapped us here and made it impossible for us to escape. Today, I'll kill you to vent my anger. The general of Nine Snake knew that he would never be a match for Ox God, so he could only vent his anger on a beast warrior like Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao initiated the attack. His body disappeared instantly. He used the 1,000-mile wolf, lone wolf walk. Although the black-striped, flying, tiger, beast soul transformation was not as useful as the black wolf general beast soul transformation, but it was definitely more powerful than the average movement technique. Child's play. The general of Nine Snakes sneered and suddenly attacked a certain spot with his 2 snake heads. And that spot happened to be where Ling Xiao appeared. What powerful observation skills. Looks like I've met my match this time. Twin Wolf Gang. Ling Xiao was shocked, but his feet did not slow down. He used the Twin Wolf Association to avoid the attacks of the 2 snake heads. Rumble. The 2 snake heads spat out a large amount of poisonous mist. In an instant, the trees in the area withered and died. This time, it was Nine Snakes' turn to be surprised. His attack was sudden. He thought that even if Ling Xiao didn't die, he would at least be injured. But he didn't expect his opponent to dodge his attack. It was really unexpected. He had 9 snake heads and 1 human head. The 9 snake heads could greatly enhance his perception, which was why Ling Xiao couldn't avoid his eyes and ears when he used Lone Wolf. In his eyes, Ling Xiao's movement technique was a joke. General Nine Snake, after all this time, you can't even kill a little ghost. These 2 women are weak, but the magic treasures in their hands are very troublesome. I'm afraid I can't deal with them alone. Although Cold Moon's cultivation was strong, she didn't have any magic treasures. That was her huge disadvantage. Lin Ruoxian's snake hair petrification shield could petrify. Moon Death's moonlight soul-controlling needle could control the opponent's soul. Both magic treasures were extremely dangerous. If one wasn't careful, they could be unlucky. Cold Moon felt that it was very troublesome. Although she wasn't at a disadvantage yet, she couldn't guarantee that she wouldn't lose after a long time. Therefore, she hoped that Nine Snake could help her. Nine Snake's strength was originally stronger than hers. Don't worry, Sister Cold Moon. I can kill him in 3 moves at most. Nine Snake also noticed the battle situation over there and knew that he couldn't continue playing. His crazy eyes finally locked onto Ling Xiao. This was the first time he looked at Ling Xiao, but there was a terrifying murderous intent in his eyes. Brother Ling Xiao, be careful. Moon Death couldn't help but remind him. Up until now, she could also feel that although Nine Snake's cultivation was the same as Cold Moon's, his strength was much stronger. Ling Xiao's side was actually more troublesome. Don't worry about me. Just be careful of your enemies. Ling Xiao said indifferently, if you can't win, I'll let you escape together. He definitely had to defeat this Nine Snake general. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to obtain the inheritance of the Heavenly Thunder, Holy Emperor. And he was also very confident. One had to know that he had obtained so many magic treasures from the 8 Immortal Mountain before, and he could use them all now. If he really used them, Nine Snake General would probably have a headache, but there was no need for that at the moment. The other party said that he could kill him in 3 moves. He wanted to see if he could use Nine Snake General's powerful attack power to continue to break through his cultivation. The potential in his body had been accumulating. The energy that he couldn't digest after his usual cultivation had been fused into his cells and slept, waiting for the right time to recover. And this time was naturally when Ling Xiao's body reached the requirements for a breakthrough. Even if his previous potential was used up, after he entered the world of reincarnation, he continued to replenish his body's potential. All kinds of pills, heavenly materials, and earthly treasures, as well as energy absorbed from the outside world, many of which couldn't be digested in a short period of time, were stored in. Who knew how many people envied his ability? Unfortunately, in the current mystic world, only he could do this. This was also the key reason why he didn't need to cultivate in seclusion and could rely on external stimulation to continue to break through. Therefore, at this stage, he still needed a powerful force to stimulate the potential in his body. Nine-Snake General was a very good opponent. It wasn't easy to meet him, and defeating him was even more difficult. He naturally wouldn't waste this opportunity. Kid, I advise you not to waste your efforts. It's meaningless to try and stop a chariot. You only have a dead end. Nine-Snake General didn't intend to know what Ling Xiao was thinking. It was just like how humans didn't care what ants thought. No matter how strong an ant was, it was still an ant. How could it compare to an elephant? Be careful of the wind, you might sprain your tongue. Ling Xiao sneered, and the black immortal sword began to flicker with traces of electric light. He could feel that his opponent had become stronger, so he also activated his top-notch lightning battle physique. One could look down on the enemy strategically, but one must never underestimate the enemy in battle. Ha 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 ha, humans are sharp-tongued. But soon, you will know that what I said is the truth. Take my first move. Nine-Snake General laughed and then suddenly made a move. The dense, poisonous gas on his body became even more ferocious. The 9 snake heads on his back suddenly stretched out, and their necks elongated like real snakes attacking Ling Xiao. Eastern Purple Chi Sword, one sword to the west. Ling Xiao pondered the power of this attack, and then stabbed out with the black immortal sword. Purple Chi lingered. Chapter 2542. After the first strike, Ling Xiao followed up with another strike. Eastern Purple Chi Sword. First strike of destruction. 2 consecutive strikes could greatly increase the power of the Eastern Purple Chi Sword. The power of destruction fused into the huge, purple-black, flying tiger's body. It actually knocked away the 9 snakes and pounced on the 9 snake general. However, at this moment, the 9 snake general was completely dismissive of Ling Xiao's fierce attack. He did not even move. When the terrifying purple-black flying tiger arrived in front of the 9 snake general, its body trembled and fell to the ground. Then it turned into nothingness. So powerful, this poisonous fog can even poison one's inner strength? The shock in Ling Xiao's heart was too great. Ever since he came to the Black Tortoise continent, this was the first time he was so surprised. One must know that the purple-black flying tiger was a form formed by energy. It was not a real animal. It was actually poisoned by the poisonous fog. It was enough to show that the poisonous fog also affected internal energy. However, after a moment of surprise, Ling Xiao's mouth curled into a sneer. The next scene shocked the 9 snake general. The black striped flying tiger that had collapsed turned into specks of sword light. There was a terrifying, destructive sword intent in it. This sword intent did not disappear because of the purple-black flying tiger's death. Instead, it caused the scattered sword chi to hurt the 9 snake general again. Damn it! The 9 snake general never dreamed that Ling Xiao would be so difficult to deal with. However, the injury this time was not serious, but it completely aroused his ferocious nature. 10,000 snakes! He roared angrily. A huge snake hole appeared behind him. From the snake hole, tens of thousands of ferocious poisonous snakes darted out and completely sealed the space where Ling Xiao was. Him doing this was naturally to block Ling Xiao's path of retreat. He wanted to kill this person. He must not give this person a chance to escape. Shadow martial art, sword cry, Een Mountain. Ling Xiao naturally did not dare to be careless. The black immortal sword in his hand bloomed with a resplendent sword light. It turned into a sharp howl, madly destroying the terrifying poisonous snakes that surrounded him. Kacha-kacha! Clang, 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 clang. The bodies of these poisonous snakes were actually covered in thick scales. Even with the increased offensive power of the Black Immortal Sword, it was only able to eliminate a few dozen of them. After that, it no longer had any effect. If that's the case, then I'll add in the power of lightning. The sound of swords reverberated through the mountains as thunder descended from the heavens. Explode! Explode! Since an ordinary sword cry wouldn't work, Ling Xiao merged it with the power of thunder and lightning. Then the crazy roar turned into thunder and lightning, turning the space into a world of thunder and lightning. The thunderbolts fell like a torrential downpour, incomparably ferocious. In an instant, the venomous snakes that had fused with the 9 snake general's internal energy were shattered, charred, and destroyed. In the end, it completely collapsed. What? I didn't expect you to have cultivated a top-notch lightning battle physique. No wonder you weren't willing to hand over the Thunderfire Mango. It seems like you know that with the Thunderfire Mango, the top-tier lightning battle physique will evolve into the low-tier violent lightning battle physique. That was a terrifying battle constitution that was equivalent to a defensive martial art of the first heaven of the immortal grade. How can this general let you have your way? The speaker didn't mean it, but the listener did. From the 9 snake general's mouth, Ling Xiao heard a very important piece of information. This top-notch lightning battle physique could still continue to be improved, but it would become the violent lightning battle physique, starting from the low tier. But the power would be even stronger. This shouldn't be a trap. After all, there was no harm in eating too many Thunderfire Mangoes. He would definitely give it a try. He just didn't know how many Thunderfire Mangoes he would need, or if he needed anything else. Just as Ling Xiao was thinking about the 9 snake general's words, the 9 snake general attacked again. Raging Dragon Fist. He clasped his fists together, and like a huge water tank, he ruthlessly smashed towards Ling Xiao's location. He had to kill Ling Xiao. He definitely couldn't let Ling Xiao cultivate the low-tier violent lightning battle physique, because once that happened, even he wouldn't be this kid's opponent. When this punch was thrown, there was actually the terrifying hiss of a venomous snake in the air. When this sound rang out, it would cause one's qi and blood to churn and their soul to become chaotic. Not to mention attacking, one wouldn't even be able to concentrate, causing the spiritual sea to become a mess. If it was a martial artist whose soul force wasn't strong enough or whose willpower wasn't firm enough, they would probably have to run away. But Ling Xiao was naturally different. His soul force was his advantage, and his battle intent was incomparably strong. How could he be suppressed by his opponent? Shadow martial art, sword rends the underworld, fused with the power of thunder and lightning springs. Although it was also a top-notch jade grade martial art, the lethality of sword rends the underworld was much greater than sword cry of the Yin Mountain. Ling Xiao condensed his yin and yang energy into the black immortal sword in his hand, and then released the sword move that he was proud of. The terrifying lightning turned into the underworld spring and spewed out from the ground. Countless sword qi attacked the 9 snake general. Boom! A terrifying qi force exploded in the air. The large group of venomous snakes that sealed this space instantly broke apart inch by inch, and then turned into a rain of blood, dripping down unceasingly. This time, not only did Ling Xiao break the 9 snake general's attack, but he also broke the snake cage that the 9 snake general tried to block his escape route. The effect of sword rends the underworld fused with the power of thunder and lightning was truly terrifying. Fortunately, he had already condensed the top-notch lightning battle body. Otherwise, it would be hard to say who would win today's battle. Of course, the premise was that he didn't use the Sky Tyrant martial spirit. 3 moves have passed. It seems like your words have not come true. I only know how to boast, 9 snake general. Ling Xiao withdrew his sword and looked coldly at the nine-snake general. He smiled and said, "Seems like you're really a frog at the bottom of a well. Presumptuous. I must kill you." Although 3 moves had passed, the nine-snake general didn't care about what he said before. This kind of person was extremely shameless. At this moment, he only wanted to kill Ling Xiao. There was no other thought. Great snake descends from the heavens. Exterminate. The nine-snake general's eyes were gloomy and cold. He used his most prized killing move. In his opinion, after this move, Ling Xiao would definitely die, because this great snake descends from the heavens was his most powerful attack before he transformed. It was 10 times stronger than the previous 3 moves. The reason why he didn't use it before was because he felt that it wasn't necessary. But at this moment, it was time to use it. Otherwise, he, the nine-snake general, would probably lose his integrity. Roar! A terrifying roar came from the sky. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death, who were fighting with Lung Yu General, felt a kind of fear from the bottom of their hearts. Even Lung Yu General couldn't help but frown. It can't be. The nine-snake general even used Great Snake descends from the heavens in order to deal with that kid? Lung Yu General originally planned to wait for the nine-snake general to kill Ling Xiao before coming over to help. But now, it seemed that the kid was really difficult to deal with. What a powerful move. But I'm not afraid. Ling Xiao laughed, and the Yin Yuan force burst out from his body. The luster of the black immortal sword in his hand became even more dazzling, as if there were streams of immortal qi seeping out from it. A terrifying slaughter sword intent gushed out. Chapter 2543. Massacre sword intent gushed out from the black immortal sword, causing the nine-snake general to feel a trace of fear. Although the fear was very faint, it was not easy to make him feel fear. Shadow martial art, Jade grade martial skill, Dark Slash. This was currently Ling Xiao's strongest move other than the Thunderburst art. Combined with the Black Immortal Sword, its power was only slightly weaker than the Thunderburst art. The terrifying Black Immortal Sword tore through the air, as if the underworld was torn open, and a brutal death aura began to spread. The nine-snake general's brows furrowed even tighter. Bang! The huge snake that was dozens of meters long collided with Ling Xiao's Black Immortal Sword. The 2 terrifying forces condensed into a huge ball of light in the middle. Then it suddenly exploded. Jade grade martial skill. How is this possible? You're still young. How can you cultivate such a terrifying martial skill? Amidst the exclamations, the nine-snake general was sent flying a few hundred meters away, crashing into a huge cliff. Ling Xiao did not have it easy either. After being hit by the huge snake, he was also sent flying a few dozen meters away before he could stabilize himself. Blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. However, he became even more excited, because he could feel that under the pressure of the opponent's terrifying power, the potential in his body erupted once again. At this moment, the energy in the middle stage of the 6th floor of Hell had reached 30%. If this continued, he believed that he would be able to advance to the later stage soon. Once his cultivation advanced again, this nine-snake general would not be a problem at all. Ling Xiao did not plan to use the Sky Tyrant martial spirit for the time being, because once it was used, it would be bullying. With the terrifying pressure, the opponent would not be able to display his full strength. Even if he won, the benefits would not be much. Unless he was determined to kill the opponent, he would not use the Sky Tyrant martial spirit for the time being. Ah! An angry roar came from the cliff. However, what came out from inside was not a nine-snake general, but a ferocious beast. Nine-headed snake. The nine-headed snake was a legendary monster. It was born with terrifying combat power. It seemed that in order to defeat Ling Xiao, the nine-headed snake general did not hesitate to revert to his original form. After all, in this state his combat power would be stronger. Roar! Brat, I didn't expect you to be so strong. I have underestimated you. A terrifying roar rang out. It was the same voice that came from the 9 snake heads. His voice was hoarse and low, but it was especially majestic. Don't you think it's a little late to find out now? Ling Xiao looked at 9 snake general indifferently. Although the Hydra's combat power was stronger, it couldn't perform many moves in its human form. This was something that Ling Xiao had experience with. Therefore, although he was very concerned about this monster in front of him, he was not afraid of it. As his life martial soul continued to recover, he didn't even waste the blood spirit fruit. His injuries were gradually healed. His injuries were not serious anyway, so there was really no need to waste the blood spirit fruit. Why do I feel like your aura has become stronger? 9 snake general was stunned. Wild beasts had stronger senses. He could feel that Ling Xiao's aura had become stronger, and it had increased by nearly 3 times. He could understand why Ling Xiao could recover from his injuries. After all, Ling Xiao had the blood spirit fruit. But what was with the increase in strength? This was too unreasonable, wasn't it? In this world, nothing is impossible. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, I can only say, thank you for fighting with me. My improvement came from your attack. Bullsh *T. 9 snake general scolded. Cunning human, I don't believe a word you say. I don't believe it. I'm afraid it's not that you don't believe it, but that you don't dare to believe it. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, I'll give you 2 choices. Either you continue to fight and you'll definitely die, or you become my servant and help me fight in the Ox Deity maze. I let you live. You're courting death. How could 9 snake general be a servant of a human? This was simply a challenge to his dignity. 9 snake, what's wrong with you? Aren't you usually good at fighting? Now you can't even deal with a kid after half a day. Why are you still talking nonsense? Cold Moon General's voice sounded again. This was because she found a problem. Unbeknownst to her, the treasures in the hands of the 2 girls had increased again. Other than the 2 treasures that were difficult to deal with, the other treasures were equally difficult to deal with. Although it seemed that the 2 girls were not as skilled as the other 2 treasures, her disadvantage was gradually revealed. Of course, she did not know that those treasures were temporarily lent to Moon Death and Lin Ruoxian by Ling Xiao. After all, the Ox Deity maze was extremely dangerous. He did not need so many treasures, but Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death definitely needed them. Cold Moon, don't say any more. This kid is difficult to deal with. But don't worry, this time I'll finish the battle quickly. 9 snake general was also very anxious. He looked at Ling Xiao and his voice became cold. Kid, it's an honor for you to die under my real body. I wanted to play with you for a while, but now I don't have the patience to be entangled with trash like you. Then let's fight it out. Ling Xiao did not want to delay any longer. From the start of the battle until now, it had already been an hour. Other warriors might have noticed it. If others took advantage of him, he would regret it to death. Therefore, he could announce the end of this battle. All right. 9 snake generals' huge body suddenly swayed. From the 9 heads, different poisons spewed out. Some could melt people in an instant. Some could make people faint in an instant. Some could make people unable to breathe. In short, 9 heads, 9 poisons. There would always be one that could kill the enemy. Such an attack was simply impossible to guard against. Facing such a terrifying attack, Ling Xiao did not dare to be careless. He finally pulled out the black demon sword. The black demon sword in his left hand and the black immortal sword in his right. With 2 swords in hand, his combat strength soared again. Another divine grade spirit weapon? 9 snake general was shocked by the number of treasures Ling Xiao and the others had. However, this made him somewhat happy. The more treasures the other party had, the more he would obtain after this battle. Die, kid! Finally, the 9 heads spewed out 9 balls of venom. All of them blasted towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was also ready to counterattack. He stabbed the two swords into the ground. His hands formed a seal. Lava storm. The terrifying lava storm spread out. It temporarily blocked the venom that filled the sky. However, Ling Xiao was also very clear that the lava storm was only an upper-tier jade grade secret technique. It was impossible to completely block the other party's venom. However, even a moment was an opportunity for him. Berserk Thunder Technique. The seal on his hands appeared again, this time coupled with a top-tier thunder and lightning body. The Berserk Thunder Technique was comparable to a top-tier jade grade secret technique. The 9 balls of venom had just penetrated the lava storm when they were completely dispersed by the Berserk Thunder Technique and evaporated. Chapter 2544. The Berserk Thunder art had already depleted its power, so it couldn't stop the enemy. But Ling Xiao was fearless, because he was carrying out his plan. He used the black demon sword in his left hand and the black immortal sword in his right hand at the same time. Slay Xianming Lightning Flash. This was a Slay Xianming infused with the power of lightning. Together with the black immortal sword and the black demon sword, it was even more powerful than the Berserk Thunder art. Kill! With 2 swords in hand, Ling Xiao didn't advance. Instead, he retreated and pounced on the 9 heads. Roar! A miserable roar sounded. A huge head fell to the ground. But things weren't over yet. Terrifying lightning continued to surge out, turning into streaks of lightning sword chi that continued to attack the remaining heads. The 9-snake general finally felt real fear. Ling Xiao was only at the middle stage of the 6th level of hell. How could he be so powerful? Not only did he have a top-tier lightning combat body, but he also had a top-tier lightning combat body. Not only did he have a top-tier jade martial skill, but he also had a top-tier jade martial skill and secret technique. Who the hell was this guy? But it was already too late to realize that he wasn't a match for him. Ling Xiao's sword intent engulfed the entire 9-snake general and killed him. A few divine runes flew out from the 9-snake general's body. Ling Xiao could clearly see that they were the divine runes that contained the 9-snake general's inheritance. He thought for a moment, then shouted at Lin Ruoxian, "Sister Ruoxian, catch it!" Lin Ruoxian didn't know what Ling Xiao wanted her to catch, but she still stopped attacking and went over. Several divine runes entered her body, which made her overjoyed. The 9-snake general and her martial soul came from the same source. This inheritance was just right for her. After passing the divine runes to Lin Ruoxian, Ling Xiao stored the 9-snake general's remaining body into the mountain river world. If the 9-snake general turned into a beast soul, it would be very suitable for a snake god position beast soul. The cold moon general was already seriously injured. Seeing that the 9-snake general was killed by Ling Xiao, she turned pale with fright and wanted to escape. However, how could Ling Xiao allow her to escape like this? He immediately used the 1,000-li wolf travel and caught up to the cold moon general in an instant. Then he pierced his throat with his sword. "Lun, you would be killed." Several divine runes also flew out of his body, and Ling Xiao gave them to Moon Death. These were all things that he had carefully considered. In the Ox Deity maze, other than the Ox Deity beast soul and the inheritance of the Holy Emperor of Heavenly Thunder, the strongest inheritances were General 9-snake and General Cold Moon. He gave these 2 inheritances to Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death, respectively. This way, at least one of them could follow him to the Chun Kingdom's capital, the Arcana Academy. Moreover, the person who obtained the inheritance would definitely become stronger. This would naturally be more advantageous for the next operation. Let's go. Next is the inheritance of the Heavenly Thunder, Holy Emperor. After successfully defeating 9-snake general, Ling Xiao's strength had increased to a certain extent. Although he had not broken through, His strength had increased from 30% to 60%. As long as there was progress, he would be happy. Next, he had to get the inheritance of a heavenly thunder, holy emperor. As for the other matters, he would deal with them later. However, to Ling Zhao's surprise, when he arrived at the location of the inheritance of the heavenly thunder, holy emperor, he saw Chen Beixian and the heavenly wind group standing outside the strange entrance, together with Xiaofeng Wanyue and the Duke of Yu's residence. Lin Yuetian's whereabouts were still unknown. Chen Beixian had no idea where this kid was hiding. He probably knew that the heavenly wind group had joined forces with the Duke of Yu's residence, so he cleverly chose to avoid them. Perhaps he was scheming something in the dark. Although Chen Beixian and Xiaofeng Wanyue had arrived at the entrance of the inheritance cave, they could not enter. This was because there was no one among the geniuses in the two sects who knew about array formations. Ling Xiao sneered. It seemed that he had learned array formations before. Otherwise, the feeling of not being able to get the treasure in front of him would be unbearable. Did they already get the ox deity beast soul? Moon Death couldn't help but ask. I'm afraid so. Ling Xiao nodded and said, if they didn't get the ox deity beast soul, they wouldn't have come here. However, they probably didn't go the same way as us, so they didn't encounter General Nine Snake and General Lun Yu. Humph, we fought so hard, and they took advantage of us. Lin Ruoxian snorted. That's not it. If we didn't encounter General Nine Snake and General Lun Yu, you wouldn't have gotten their inheritance, and I wouldn't have become stronger. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao rolled his eyes and said, since they can't open the cave now, let's just go and cultivate. You guys get the 2 inheritances, and I'll improve my cultivation. He knew that if he appeared now, he would definitely be attacked by the Heavenly Wind Group and the Duke of Yu's residence. With their current strength, even if they won, it would be a Pyrrhic victory. It would definitely benefit Lin Yuetian, who was hiding in the dark and waiting for an opportunity. He wasn't that stupid. Just like that, the 3 of them left the cave and returned to the forest. They found a secluded place and began to cultivate. There were a total of 3 days. The first day had passed, and only the night was left. The 3 of them began to cultivate before the sun set. They only woke up in the early morning of the 3rd day. After a day and 2 nights of cultivation, Ling Xiao successfully transformed General Nine Snake's corpse into his beast soul. This beast soul was powerful, and it was at the pinnacle of the 18 levels of hell. In other words, Ling Xiao was at least at the pinnacle of the 18 levels of hell. Although he couldn't unleash the full potential of this beast soul, it was still more powerful than those weak martial souls. General Nine Snake's beast soul was very domineering. Anyone who saw the 9 snake heads would be afraid. General Nine Snake's beast soul also had a special ability, and it was called 9 Snake Poison Field. It was the last move General Nine Snake used to deal with Ling Xiao. It released 9 types of terrifying venom and created a terrifying poison field that caught the enemy off guard. The power of this special ability was usually on par with Ling Xiao's most powerful martial arts or secret arts. However, if Ling Xiao's cultivation level was higher than the Beast Soul's level, it wouldn't work. For example, the Steel Bull Demon Beast Soul was only at the Yin-Yang state level 3 levels of hell. If Ling Xiao's cultivation level reached the Yin-Yang state level 4 levels of hell, its power wouldn't increase anymore. With the 9 Snakes Beast Soul, not only did Ling Xiao's combat power increase, but Ling Xiao's cultivation level had also reached the late stage of the Yin-Yang state level 6 levels of hell after absorbing the energy from General Nine Snake's body. He wasn't afraid of facing Chen Beixian and Xiaofeng Wanyue at the same time. Of course, he didn't know much about Chen Beixian and wasn't sure how powerful he was. However, he still believed that Chen Beixian's talent wasn't as good as his, so he couldn't be much stronger. After he woke up, Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death also woke up. Chapter 2545. After a day and 2 nights of cultivation, Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death hadn't fully integrated the two inheritances. They had only absorbed about 10%, but they had both reached the peak of level 6 of hell. This was even more terrifying than Ling Xiao's increase in cultivation. However, Ling Xiao wasn't worried. As long as he received the Tianlei Sacred Emperor's inheritance, he would only improve more than these two. The stronger these two were, the more help they would be to him. Now he could finally rob them openly. Whether it was the Tianlei Sacred Emperor's inheritance or the Ox God Beast Soul, Ling Xiao wanted them all. By then, the Thunder Array formation in the cave of the Tianlei Sacred Emperor's inheritance had been resolved. After all, a day and 2 nights had passed. Qin Beixian and Xiaofeng Wanyue weren't idiots. Although they didn't know anything about arrays, they obviously had an expert guiding them. It wouldn't make sense if they couldn't resolve the array formation in the cave after such a long time. Seeing this, Ling Xiao wasn't worried at all. The array formation at the entrance was broken. Could they deal with the Tianlei Sacred Emperor's Dharma body? Just like General Nine Snake and General Lun Yu, they were originally sealed here. They didn't actually die, but their strength was greatly weakened. Even if the Tianlei Sacred Emperor was weakened, he would definitely be stronger than General Nine Snake and General Lun Yu. He was probably an expert at the 7th level of hell in the Yinyang realm. Even if those guys all rushed in, they wouldn't be able to resolve it in a short time. In fact, Ling Xiao had been using his soul power to observe everything. He was also worried that someone would steal the Tianlei Sacred Emperor's inheritance. An inheritance was different from a beast soul. Even if a beast soul was stolen, it could be snatched back. However, once the inheritance was stolen, if the other party cultivated it by force, it would be impossible to snatch it back. Of course, ordinary people wouldn't be so rash. However, it was better to be safe than sorry. Didn't Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death cultivate peacefully for a while with Ling Xiao's help? When Ling Xiao, Lin Ruoxian, and Moon Death appeared in the cave, he saw a few charred corpses on the ground. Not too far away, within a gigantic thunder pool, there was a powerful being bathed in thunder and lightning. The pair of gigantic bull horns on his head were simply too eye-catching. Needless to say, this was definitely the Heavenly Thunder, Holy Emperor. The domineering aura of a king from the past still existed on his body today. It was a pity that his strength had weakened too much. He only had that domineering aura. However, even so, he was not someone that ordinary people could bully. Both the Heavenly Wind Group and the Duke of Yu's residence had already lost many cultivators. Although Qin Beixian and Xiaofeng Wanyue weren't injured, it was clear that they were very anxious. This was especially true for Qin Beixian. If Qin Beixian wanted to become a student of the Arcana Academy, he would have to obtain the inheritance of the Divine Emperor of Heavenly Thunder. However, he did not expect that this Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor's inheritance would be much more difficult than obtaining the Divine Ox Beast Soul. It was the last day. If he couldn't get the inheritance of the Sacred Emperor of Heavenly Thunder, he would have to break the contract. He couldn't go out empty-handed. While both sides were thinking about their own plans, Ling Xiao appeared in front of them. Xiaofeng Wanyue's eyes were filled with hatred. However, Qin Beixian smiled. The expressions of the two were actually very easy to understand. Xiaofeng Wanyue had obtained the Divine Ox Beast Soul, so he didn't have to worry about anything other than revenge. Therefore, he hated Ling Xiao. However, Qin Beixian needed to kill the Sacred Emperor of Heavenly Thunder as soon as possible. The arrival of Ling Xiao and the other two meant that their combat power had increased. It would be more likely for them to defeat the Sacred Emperor of Heavenly Thunder. Of course, he would be happy. It's already the 3rd day. You are still here. It seems that the Divine Ox Beast Soul is already in your hands. Ling Xiao smiled and looked at Xiaofeng Wanyue. Your storage ring can't contain the energy of the Divine Ox Beast Soul. Perhaps because Ling Xiao had the deity tablet of the 12 divine beasts, the energy of the Divine Ox Beast Soul was very obvious to him. Apparently, it was in Xiaofeng Wanyue's storage ring. You are finally here. So what if you know? Only death awaits you here. Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon looked at Ling Xiao, his eyes filled with battle and killing intent. She didn't care about the sacred emperor of heavenly thunder who couldn't get out of the thunder pool. Anyway, it didn't matter to her whether she could obtain the inheritance of the sacred emperor of heavenly thunder or not. Really? I'm afraid Qin Beixian doesn't want you to kill me. Ling Xiao smiled and said. He had seen through the situation at first glance, but Xiaofeng Wanyue was blinded by hatred and didn't think of it. Why? Xiaofeng Wanyue asked Qin Beixian, Woman, you are so stupid. Don't you understand? He needs the inheritance of the sacred emperor of heavenly thunder. If I die, his combat power will be weakened. Who will help him deal with the sacred emperor of heavenly thunder? Ling Xiao sneered. It's meaningless with your strength. Xiaofeng Wanyue snorted and said, I can spare Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death. Those two girls are at the early stage of the 6th level of hell. They can help you. This guy is only relying on the thunder of immortality, but it's useless against the sacred emperor of heavenly thunder. Qin Beixian didn't say anything, as if he agreed with Xiaofeng Wanyue. Ling Xiao didn't refute. He only looked at Xiaofeng Wanyue with contempt. He was still a bit afraid of this woman when he was in the thunder pit, but today he had already killed the 9-snake general. To him, this woman was not even worth mentioning. He didn't even plan to use his sword. He wanted to try the 9-snake general's beast soul. Are you speechless, Ling Xiao? I know you're talented, so I can't let you get out of the ox god maze alive. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll never be able to avenge myself. Xiaofeng Wanyue shouted furiously. Ling Xiao, why don't I take care of this woman for you? Lin Ruoxian glanced at Ling Xiao and said. Her current cultivation and strength came from Ling Xiao's help. So if Ling Xiao was willing, she could help Ling Xiao solve any problems. No need. You guys should work together with Qin Beixian to deal with the sacred emperor of heavenly thunder. This woman is not worth mentioning. I'll play with her first. Ling Xiao wanted to deal with Xiaofeng Wanyue because of the ox god beast soul. Moreover, if the other party kept pestering him, there was no way he could avoid this battle. He had to end it quickly. He had to get rid of this woman first and get the ox god beast soul to increase his strength. This way, he would be more confident in dealing with the sacred emperor of heavenly thunder. Arrogant guy, since you won't let those two women help, I won't let my people help either. Xiaofeng Wanyue originally planned to let the rest of the people from the Dukyu residence deal with Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death. At least they could hold them back. She would deal with Ling Xiao alone. Chapter 2546. Are you really not going to help? Qin Beixian looked at Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death with interest. Do we need to? Lin Ruoxian asked. Qin Beixian smiled and said, Maybe Ling Xiao isn't as useless as the rumors say. However, his cultivation is far from Xiaofeng Wanyue's. If he can't close the gap, he won't be Xiaofeng Wanyue's match. It's only been 2 days since he entered the Ox God Maze. It's impossible for him to improve so much in such a short time. So, in my opinion, he's still no match for Xiaofeng Wanyue. However, it won't be easy for Xiaofeng Wanyue to defeat him. No, Brother Ling Xiao will definitely win. Moon Death shook her head and said, Even you are no match for Brother Ling Xiao. Oh, miss, you're obviously exaggerating, aren't you? Xiaofeng Wanyue is only at the late stage of the 6th level of hell. However, I'm at the peak of my cultivation and have accumulated 100% of my energy. I'm only a step away from breaking through the 7th level of hell. What makes him think he can fight me? Qin Beixian said proudly. Let's not talk about it. You won't believe me anyway. Brother Ling Xiao said he wants to fight the Heavenly Thunder's sacred emperor. Let's start the battle. Moon Death didn't want to explain too much. After the battle between Chen Beixian and Ling Xiao, the result would be revealed. Although everyone was attacking the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor to deplete his energy, they still paid attention to the battle between Ling Xiao and Xiaofeng Wanyue. For the people present, this battle was still very attractive. As for the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor, he was obviously sealed in the Thunder Pool. As long as he didn't step into the Thunder Pool, he wouldn't be afraid of the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor's attack. The reason why someone was killed just now was because he was too excited to attack and stepped into the range of the lightning pool. That was why he encountered trouble. Ling Xiao wasn't thinking about the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor right now. He knew how to deal with the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor. But before that, he had to get the Ox God Beast Soul. His body began to change. The terrifying 9-headed snake Beast Soul transformation made him look extremely ferocious and terrifying. Even his figure had grown a lot taller. What the hell is this? When Dawn Wind Waning Moon saw Ling Xiao's bizarre transformation, he could not help being startled. She had seen Ling Xiao fight before, and the first time Ling Xiao defeated her while she was still recovering from her injuries, she was naturally unconvinced. The second time, Ling Xiao killed Commander Chen. However, Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon had always believed that Ling Xiao had used his undying lightning. Even if Ling Xiao had killed Commander Chen with his own strength, he still wouldn't be a match for her. Commander Chen was only at the middle stage of the 6th level of Hell, while she was at the late stage of the 6th level of Hell. In terms of strength, she was more than 10 times stronger than Commander Chen. No matter what the hell you are, you will die today. Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon roared, and a golden-armored warrior appeared behind him. The warrior held 2 huge axes and looked extremely ferocious. 2 huge axes also appeared in her hands. She was as mighty as the mighty spirit god, but she lacked the gentleness and elegance of a woman. "I will kill you." Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon roared and swung the 2 axes at Ling Xiao. Many disciples of the Duke of Yu Mansion cheered for Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon. In their eyes, Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon's brutality and ferocity were on par with Qin Beixian and Lin Yuetian. No one knew how many people had died under the 2 axes. Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon was also a martial artist in the Duke of Yu Mansion who was well versed in all kinds of weapons. Therefore, her martial spirit was the most versatile. As for the giant axe, it was one of the weapons with the most terrifying attack power. She clearly wanted Ling Xiao to die by using the giant axe. With Ling Xiao's strength, would he be able to withstand it? Go to hell, you punk from the 8 Immortal Mountain. You are just a gigolo who hides behind a woman. Unpleasant curses came from the Duke of Yu's Mansion's camp. Meanwhile, the martial artists of the Heavenly Wind Group were enjoying the show. However, soon, the harsh curses came to an abrupt end. The smile on their faces also froze. This was because everyone saw a strange scene. A terrifying snake head appeared behind Ling Xiao and sent Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon flying. The 2 axes fell to the ground. Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon was even more flustered. Her black hair was disheveled and messy. That was merely a single strike. Can't your golden armor warrior level up? It can be merged. Use it now, or I will kill you with the next attack. Ling Xiao looked at Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon coldly and didn't pursue. However, the more he ignored her, the angrier Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon became. She felt that she was being looked down upon and looked down upon. This was simply a great humiliation. Very well, as you wish. Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon was very clear that if he didn't use his full strength, not to mention revenge, he might even lose his life here. He had no choice but to upgrade the Golden Armor Warrior to the Golden Armor God. His power suddenly increased tenfold. Then the Golden Armor God merged with his body and turned into a Golden Armor Valkyrie, increasing his combat power by another tenfold. In other words, her combat power was almost on par with Chen Beixian when he didn't use any special means. Every time I see you guys transform, I am envious. Your transformation is so much better than my beast soul transformation. Ling Xiao cracked a smile. Although it sounded like a compliment, many people knew that he was implying that the golden armor transformation of the Duke of Yu Mansion was only good for show. These words were simply cursing. Cut the crap, let's fight. Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon, who had turned into a golden armor Valkyrie, seemed to have regained her confidence. However, the more she fought, the more she realized that Ling Xiao was like an endless wall. She had no idea how powerful he was. No matter what kind of attack she used, Chen Beixian could deal with it easily. In the beginning, Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon tried to defeat Ling Xiao with a jade tier martial art. However, even after using all of her most powerful jade tier martial art, she couldn't hurt Ling Xiao at all. Ling Xiao didn't use his most powerful sword art. He only used a beast soul transformation to block all of her attacks. The 9 snake heads were extremely strange. It was as if each of them was as hard as iron, and each of them was as terrifying as a divine weapon. I don't believe that a jade tier martial art won't work. Then I will use a top-tier martial art. As the most talented prodigy of the Duke of Yu Mansion, Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon knew how to use a jade tier martial art. Ling Xiao was still wearing a faint smile on his face. Chen Beixian furrowed his brows as he watched the battle from the sidelines. He originally wanted to find some clues from the battle between Ling Xiao and Xiaofeng Wanyue. This way, if it was his turn to fight Ling Xiao, it would be easier. However, he realized that he was wrong. He was so wrong. From the beginning to the end, Ling Xiao actually did not use any kind of martial skill. He was completely using those 9 ferocious snake heads to face the enemy. This time, it's time for you to use your true strength, right? Chapter 2547. Chen Beixian believed that even he had to be careful when Dawn Wind Waning Moon used a top-tier jade grade martial art, not to mention Ling Xiao. Seal of God, Weapon Storm. Weapon Storm was a powerful martial art that only Dawn Wind Waning Moon could use in the Duke of Yu's residence. Terrifying weapons were released from her hands and turned into a torrential downpour, smashing towards Ling Xiao like a mountain range. 9 snake mystic art, 9 snake venom realm. His opponent's attack was powerful, and Ling Xiao couldn't neutralize it with a normal attack. Therefore, he didn't hesitate and used the most powerful skill of the beast soul transformation. Suddenly, the 9 snake heads spewed out 9 streams of terrifying venom. The venom turned into a poisonous fog that covered the entire area. No, I don't want to die. Even if Dawn Wind Waning Moon could block 8 of the 9 types of venom, she would lose her combat ability if she was infected by even one of them. This was the terrifying part of the 9 snake venom realm. Moreover, Ling Xiao had refined the 9 snake venom realm and combined it with the territory of a Grotto Heaven realm martial artist. The poisonous fog didn't dissipate for a long time. Even if his opponent could block it for a while, it wouldn't last forever. In the poisonous fog, Dawn Wind Waning Moon let out a blood-curdling scream. All the weapons fell to the ground. Vaguely, one could see her trembling on the ground. Ling Xiao sneered and used the 1,000-mile wolf to snatch the storage ring that contained the divine ox beast soul. He didn't put it in the storage ring, but used it directly. Chen Beixian and the others thought that Ling Xiao had lost his mind after seeing this. Normal people can't withstand the divine ox beast soul. It's unavoidable to use it directly. Chen Beixian said coldly, "That's right. Since Ling Xiao got the divine ox beast soul, he should have stored it away first. His impulsive action is suicidal. It seems that he doesn't want the divine ox beast soul to be taken away by us." Chun Xianfeng shared the same thought. However, Ling Xiao's body didn't explode as they had expected. Not only did Ling Xiao not die, but his aura seemed to have strengthened in that instant. Obviously, they weren't imagining things. The divine ox beast soul was injected into the divine ox seat, although it could not be used for the time being. However, it could greatly increase the power of the beast spirit on this deity position. It could also increase a warrior's strength at the very beginning. The moment Ling Xiao injected the divine ox beast soul into his body, he became a martialist at the peak of level 6 of the Yin-Yang realm. Although Chen Beixian and Chen Xianfeng could feel that his aura had grown stronger, they didn't know why it had grown stronger. Ling Xiao sneered at Chen Beixian and Chen Xuanfeng's shocked faces. Then he retracted a large amount of poisonous fog. It revealed Dawn Breeze, Waning Moon's miserable appearance. Many parts of Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon's body had been corroded and turned black. His face was pale and bloodless. He was clearly a living person just a moment ago, but at this moment he looked withered like a skeleton. Tisk, TSK. I told you not to provoke me, but you didn't listen. Anyway, since I've already gotten the divine ox beast soul, I'll let you go and spare your life. Ling Xiao smiled. With Dawn Wind Waning Moon in such a state, he no longer had any combat prowess left. He was no longer a threat to Ling Xiao, so there was no point in killing him. Therefore, he only retracted all the poisonous fog and looked at the divine emperor in the thunder pool. Chen Beixian was shocked that Ling Xiao could defeat Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon and get the divine ox beast soul so easily. However, he was also indifferent. He was the first on the genius roll. How could Ling Xiao steal his limelight? Ling Xiao, you've already gotten the divine ox beast soul. There's no need to fight for the inheritance of the divine emperor. Chen Beixian said coldly. Elder Dawn Wind Waning Moon was already crippled, so the inheritance of the divine emperor was naturally his. He wouldn't allow anyone to compete with him. What a joke! When you teamed up with the Duke of Yu's mansion to deal with my sister Ruoxian, did you think this would happen? I got the divine ox beast soul, so the inheritance of the divine emperor is also mine. Ling Xiao said coldly, Aren't you afraid of eating too much? Chen Xianfeng scolded. Senior Brother Beixian, don't waste your breath on him. Let's kill him first. Qin Bao said, Kill me? Do you have the ability to do so? Ling Xiao said sarcastically, Let me give you a piece of advice. Stay aside and watch, and you might be able to get out of here alive. Otherwise, I'll kill everyone in the Heavenly Wind group. How arrogant! Chen Beixian was an arrogant person. How could he not be angry after hearing Ling Xiao's words? However, he had to rely on Ling Xiao to help him defeat the divine emperor, so he had no choice but to stay put. Sister Ruoxian, Moon Death, follow me into the lightning pool. Ling Xiao could feel that the dagger in his storage ring was trembling. A warm current suddenly flowed into his soul realm. He suddenly knew everything. The divine emperor used to be a monster reared by a big family in the Qin nation. This dagger was the Dharma treasure that controlled the divine emperor. However, the family was later wiped out because of some things. That demonic beast, which was Holy Emperor Tianlei, had coincidentally devoured the corpses of more than 1,000 members of this family. As a result, not only did it become stronger, but it also took on a human form. The divine emperor was a violent person. During his time outside, he had harmed many people. If it wasn't for the divine ox beast seal, it would have become a disaster. With the divine thunder dagger in his hand, he could avoid being hurt by the lightning pool and have a good fight with the divine emperor. Ling Xiao didn't need those guys with evil intentions to interfere. As long as he joined forces with Lin Ruoxian, Moon Death, and the 8 Dharma treasures of the 8 Immortal Mountain, they could defeat this monster. You don't need to watch the battle. Ling Xiao waved his hand and avoided the battle. To defeat the divine emperor, Ling Xiao had to use all his strength. including the martial soul of the Tyrant Sky and the soul of the Butterfly Lady. If those guys saw it, it would be troublesome. What should we do now, senior brother? Qin Bao asked Qin Beixian. He was at a loss of what to do after witnessing this bizarre scene. Let's wait first. We can't enter the lightning pool anyway. Since he can enter, we'll wait for him to kill the divine emperor and then reap the benefits. Qin Beixian thought for a while. It seems that this is the only way now. Qin Bao said helplessly, Senior brother Beixian, I don't think it's a good idea to wait here. If that guy doesn't defeat the divine emperor, and we don't get anything, we won't even be qualified to enter the Arcana Academy. Why don't I take people outside to find other inheritances? Qin Xianfeng suggested. Okay. Chapter 2548. Suddenly, a deafening explosion came up. The entire Sky Thunder Cavern seemed to be on the verge of collapsing. Qin Beixian was still inside the cavern when he sensed something was wrong. He quickly rushed out of the cavern. When he returned to the cave, he found that the lightning pool had already collapsed and the place was a mess. Only the body of the sacred emperor of Sky Thunder lay there like a lifeless bull. The divine text floated in the air, but Ling Xiao, Lin Ruoxian, and Moon Death were nowhere to be seen. God is on my side. Qin Beixian didn't know what had happened, but he knew one thing. The inheritance of the sacred emperor of Sky Thunder was right in front of him. Come. Qin Beixian opened his right hand and tried to pull the three divine text into his body. Suddenly, a figure appeared outside the cavern. It was Lin Yuetian. Lin Yuetian had been waiting for this moment for a long time. He knew that he was no match for Qin Beixian and the Heavenly Wind Group. However, Qin Beixian was the only one left. The rest of the martial artists were either dead or had left the cavern in search of other inheritances. He couldn't let go of such a golden opportunity. Qin Beixian didn't have time to react and was thrown into the thunder pool by Lin Yuetian. Lin Yuetian also took the three divine text. The two of them were evenly matched in terms of power. Lin Yuetian's sneak attack had saved him a lot of effort. Ha ha ha! Lin Yuetian, did not waste my time hiding in the dark like a rat for 3 days. Qin Beixian, the Ox God maze is about to end in an hour. I have to report back to my superiors. Sorry. Lin Yuetian laughed maniacally and ran away. He wasn't going to fight Qin Beixian to the death. It was the last hour of the 3rd day, and it was time for the results to be announced. Stop right there, asshole. Qin Beixian chased after him. Without the Ox God Beast Soul, the inheritance of the sacred emperor of Sky Thunder was his only chance to become a disciple of the Arcana Academy. Of course, he wouldn't give up. After all, he was more powerful than Lin Yuetian. As long as he could catch up with Lin Yuetian, he would be able to take back the inheritance of the sacred emperor of Sky Thunder. At this moment, no one cared where Ling Xiao and the others had gone. What is this place? Ling Xiao rubbed his dizzy head and looked at the strange scene around him. This place should be underground. Lightning constantly flickered, as if it was a terrifying lightning domain. At this time, Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death also woke up. They were just as confused as Ling Xiao about where they were. Although I don't know, this is definitely a very special place in the Ox God's maze. Furthermore, we were forcefully teleported here after defeating the Holy Emperor Tianlei. There might be some accidents, so be careful. Ling Xiao reminded him before swallowing a blood spirit fruit. The other two did the same. After all, the battle with Holy Emperor Tianlei had consumed too much energy. All 3 of them were injured. Ling Xiao's first revolution, Yin-Yang Realms, 6th level of hell increased again, reaching 30% of his strength. The other 2's inheritances were also stimulated, and their rate of improvement was even faster than his. They had already reached 70% of their strength. After recovering, the 3 of them began to search this unfamiliar place. From the looks of it, This place was more like an alternate dimension. I suspect that this dimension exists inside Holy Emperor Tianlei's body. Ling Xiao also had the mountain river world, so he could feel it very clearly. If that was the case, it meant that they had already entered Holy Emperor Tianlei's body. However, he didn't know which part it was. Of course, if someone were to observe Holy Emperor Tianlei's body from the outside, they would see a strange light flashing in his eyes. Although it wasn't very obvious, it could be seen with a closer look. Unfortunately, both Chen Beixian and Lin Yuetian were focused on the divine text and didn't notice it at all. The three of them searched this strange dimension for a while and found a room. There was a lightning barrier on the door of the room. It was much stronger than the lightning array in the Sky Thunder Cavern. Ling Xiao felt the Sky Thunder dagger in his storage ring reacting, so he took it out. The moment the Heavenly Thunder dagger came into contact with the lightning above the door, all the lightning disappeared. It was as if the lightning had been sucked into the dagger. The door opened and the three of them walked in. To their surprise, they found that it was a study room. The bookshelves were filled with martial arts manuals. Normally, the inferior top-tier jade grade martial skills were treated as treasures, but in this place, they were actually the most ordinary. Most of the martial arts manuals here were outstanding, top-tier jade grade martial arts manuals. Some of them were top-tier jade grade martial arts manuals. If the people in the 8 Immortals County knew about this, they would go crazy with excitement. There shouldn't be any danger here. You two go and choose a top-tier jade grade martial arts manual that is suitable for you. It would be best if you could choose a set of excellent, outstanding, and top-tier martial arts manuals. After all, your cultivation level is not very high. If you want to cultivate, you should start with the excellent ones. Ling Xiao reminded them and then continued to search the room. He had a feeling that things weren't that simple. Since the Sky Thunder Dagger was related to this dimension, did it mean that this dimension was created by the family in the Qin Kingdom? Since they were the ones who created it, it was only right that they had something better. After all, the Sky Thunder Holy Emperor was so strong. How could the martial artists of this family be weak? The keyhole of this box is just right for the Sky Thunder Dagger. Let's try it. After searching the entire study room, he found a box made of black wood in an inconspicuous corner. This black wood was very hard. Even steel was not as hard as it. He first set up 3 layers of defensive formations. After all, he didn't know what was inside the box. Then he inserted the dagger into the keyhole. At this moment, the whole box spewed out a terrifying bolt of lightning. The lightning gradually condensed into a human figure. Ling Xiao had never seen this person before. It was very unfamiliar, but he guessed that it might be the person from the destroyed family. You are the fated person who defeated the purple lightning bull. It was obvious that the human figure formed by the lightning was just the soul sealed in the black wooden box. His voice was full of majesty and vicissitudes. To be able to call the Sky Thunder Holy Emperor Purple Lightning Bull, he was probably stronger than the Sky Thunder Holy Emperor. Either that or its owner. That's right. How should I address you? Ling Xiao asked. Because he didn't have a good impression of the Sky Thunder Holy Emperor. Ling Xiao's attitude towards this guy wasn't very good. Ha ha ha! It seems that you are very dissatisfied with that purple lightning bull. That's true. That evil beast, not only did it betray its master at the critical moment, it even devoured the corpses of thousands of its master's family members. It was simply unforgivable. Chapter 2549. Benefactor? Sigh, what a pity. I'm afraid the inheritance of the Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor has already been taken away by someone else. I originally wanted that. Ling Xiao sighed. That's nothing. The lightning figure suddenly scolded. That purple lightning bull's knowledge is not even 30% of mine. What bullshit, Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor. The real Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor is me. That guy is just my mount, how dare he use my name? What's going on? Hearing this, Ling Xiao was a little stunned. Hearing this lightning figure was the real Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor? You may not believe it, but it doesn't matter. Soon you will believe it. After I finish my last words, I will naturally give you my complete inheritance. At that time, not only will you have a great breakthrough in your cultivation, you will also obtain the real Thunder Light Shield and the real Heavenly Thunder Divine Guard martial skills and secret techniques. What that stupid bull learned was only the tip of the iceberg. No matter how much it cultivated, the strongest martial skill it learned was only the second level of the immortal grade, and it was incomplete. However, the true Imperial Spirit Lightning Light Shield and Heavenly Thunder Divine Guard could be upgraded along with your cultivation. The highest you can reach is the 9th level of the immortal grade. The lightning humanoid said proudly, "All right, Senior, I believe you, but you should have some requirements for giving me your inheritance, right?" Ling Xiao did not believe that a pie would fall from the sky for no reason. There is a requirement. Do you know why our family was exterminated? He suddenly asked. I don't know. That's because our family has a terrifying, devouring demon fetus. This demon fetus can devour the 10 golden crows that fell on the Black Tortoise continent in the past. At this point, the lightning figure's eyes were filled with fear. All warriors want to take the devouring demon fetus for themselves and make it a part of their body. This way, they can devour the 10 golden crows and have a terrifying power comparable to the 12 beast gods. The lightning figure continued. Actually, the reason why the purple lightning bull came to the ox god's maze is because the ox god is suppressing a terrifying golden crow. Its name is the 9 Nether Yellow Springs Golden Crow. Legend has it that in the ancient Black Tortoise continent there were 11 golden suns in the sky. There were 11 different golden crows. The 11 golden suns emitted different rays of light, tormenting this ancient land. Later on, the 12 beast gods joined forces and knocked 10 of the golden crows to the ground. Because of this, the 12 beast gods had no choice but to go into hibernation, and their powers were much weaker than when they were at their peak. All these years, in order to find the 10 golden crows, many top experts of the Black Tortoise mainland have died. From what you're saying, the devouring devil fetus seems to be able to devour golden crows. Ling Xiao asked, You're right. The suppressed devouring devil fetus is an extremely terrifying existence. It came from outer space, and no one knows where it came from. Some said it was the demon realm, while others said it was somewhere else. In short, this guy was really terrifying. No matter what it was, he could devour it. After devouring it, it could also continuously increase its strength. Fortunately, it's just a devil fetus. Otherwise, if it grows into a real devil, the entire Black Tortoise continent will be swallowed by it. The lightning, humanoid figure explained. In terms of devouring ability, can it be stronger than the Taotai beast? Ling Xiao laughed. I can't judge because I've never seen the Taotai beast. Actually, there's another way. This devouring devil fetus was born from the Taotai beast and the demon race. Therefore, not only does it have the devouring ability of the Taotai beast, it also has the terrifying demonic power of the demon race. Once this devil grows up, the entire Black Tortoise mainland will suffer, and it may even affect the entire mystic world. Therefore, I hope you can get rid of that devouring devil fetus. The lightning humanoid figure said, That thing will not only cause strife in the world, but it can also trigger a real apocalypse. Listen to me, you won't be wrong. It does sound terrifying, but what if I can turn the devouring devil fetus into my own? Ling Xiao actually had an idea ever since he came to the Black Tortoise mainland. If he wanted to explore the mystic world, he would not be able to return to the Heavenly Empire for a long time. This would inevitably breed some people's rebellious thoughts. Therefore, it would be better to create a powerful avatar. That's right, an avatar, not a clone. He had seen this method of creating avatars in the primordial spirit remnant scroll. All that was needed was the soul and the embryo. He was already able to create a soul out of the shell, and he could also split a part of his soul and let it grow continuously, but it was also closely connected to his soul. If he added the devouring devil fetus, wouldn't he be able to create a heaven-defying avatar? Avatars were different from doppelgangers. Avatars were basically another version of themselves. Thinking of this, he already had a plan. No, you have to remember, many people have tried in vain to be contaminated by the devouring devil fetus, including people from our family, but in the end, they did not succeed. Your cultivation is far inferior to ours. So how could you possibly succeed? The lightning humanoid figure shook his head and said, "Don't try something that has no chance of success. You will definitely fail, definitely. At that time, it will be too late to regret it." He seemed to be really worried about Ling Xiao. It's just that he didn't trust Ling Xiao that much. "I definitely won't regret it." Ling Xiao smiled. Although he didn't know if he could succeed, since he had chosen to do something, he would definitely not regret it. This was his character. The lightning humanoid figure had already told him where the devouring devil fetus was. It didn't take him much time to find it. The devouring devil fetus was sealed in 81 layers of seals. It seemed that in order to prevent this thing from growing, the lightning humanoid figure's family had really spent a lot of time. No. The lightning humanoid figure was frightened and let out a loud cry. However, he was powerless to stop Ling Xiao from doing what he wanted to do. To put it bluntly, it was just a humanoid figure condensed by a mass of energy and soul. In fact, Ling Xiao was worried that he wouldn't succeed. However, when he approached the devouring devil fetus, he felt that the devouring devil fetus was a little afraid. The Taotai beast in Universe Tyrant only opened one eye, but the devouring devil fetus had completely lost its ability to resist. As for the seals, they were not a problem for Ling Xiao at all. It only took him a few minutes to remove all of them. "I can start now." Ling Xiao took a deep breath. Because it was his first time creating an avatar, he was extra careful. Almost half of his soul power was released from his spirit sea and then poured into the devouring devil fetus. The devouring devil fetus tried to resist, but it was completely suppressed by the Taotai beast's roar. From this, Ling Xiao could basically conclude that the devouring devil fetus was related to the Taotai beast, but it was definitely not on the same level as the Taotai beast. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so terrifying when facing the Taotai beast. Chapter 2550. The Taotai beast was too powerful. It was the most ferocious beast in the entire universe. Devouring a planet was child's play to it. Although the devouring devil fetus was not as powerful as the Taotai beast, it was already considered the most ferocious monster in the mystic world. Using the devouring devil fetus to create an avatar was not bad. In the future, when he left the mystic world, this avatar could help him rule the entire mystic world. The devil fetus consciousness was not erased by Ling Xiao. Instead, it was integrated into the divine sense that he had separated. It became a part of the avatar's memory. This was necessary because only in this way could the avatar obtain all the abilities of the devil fetus and control it. It would be easier for him to cultivate or devour in the future. Under the shocked gaze of the lightning figure, the devil fetus gradually became quiet and finally fell silent. When it woke up again, it made a strange sound. Others did not know what it meant, but Ling Xiao and the avatar were telepathically connected. Naturally, he knew that this little guy was hungry. "Senior, I have refined the devouring devil fetus into an avatar. I can naturally control all its actions. So, all your worries are unnecessary. What I want to ask now is, where is the 9 Nether Yellow Springs golden crow that you mentioned? I am going to let my avatar devour it." Ling Xiao had the 12 divine beasts position and the Taotai beast in the Tyrant universe. He also had the goal of collecting the 12 divine fires. To him, The 10 golden crows were just icing on the cake. They did not mean much. However, if the devil fetus devoured them, it would be different. This devil fetus would soon grow into his right-hand man. This is incredible. This is really incredible. The lightning figure looked at the devil fetus that showed no signs of resistance and knew that Ling Xiao was telling the truth. For so many years, he had seen many people try their best to subdue the devouring devil fetus, but in the end, they were unable to subdue it. However, Ling Xiao was able to refine him into an avatar so easily. How did he do it? Who are you? The lightning figure asked. Before Ling Xiao could answer, the lightning figure sighed and said, "Forget it. There is no need to answer. I am just a consciousness that has yet to disperse. After I give you my inheritance, I will be completely separated from this world. It doesn't matter whether you know or not. Senior, do you want me to avenge your clan?" Ling Xiao suddenly asked. "Forget it. Let's talk. Our family's annihilation is... Let's talk about the 9 nether Yellow Springs Golden Crow. It won't be easy for your outer body incarnation to devour the Golden Crow of the Netherworld. Of course, it's not easy for me, but I would like to ask Senior to elaborate." Ling. SSSSSSS. As I said before, the 9 nether Yellow Springs Golden Crow is one of the 10 great Golden Crows. In other words, it was not complete. If it was the complete 9 nether Yellow Springs Golden Crow, after the Ox deity died in battle, it could easily escape from here. A mere Ox deity's maze wouldn't be able to stop it. However, even if it was only one of the 9 souls, it was still powerful and terrifying. Before you, there were countless people who tried to approach one of the 9 souls of the Golden Crow. However, they either failed or lost their lives here. You seem to be a very far-sighted young man. Let me tell you this. In the Black Tortoise Continent, other than the 12 beast gods, no one can suppress a Golden Crow. Even if it was only one of the 9 souls of the Golden Crow, it was enough to scatter the soul of a martial artist who was tens of thousands of times stronger than you. I'm definitely not exaggerating. You probably know that in the western region of the Black Tortoise Continent, there are tens of thousands of small countries like the state of Qin. These tens of thousands of small countries actually belong to the 9 great forces. Because these 9 forces were too powerful, they were given the title of 9 Supremes. The leaders of the 9 great powers were also known as the 9 great venerables. They weren't countries, but they were above them. The reason why I'm telling you this is because the top martial artists of the 9 Supremes had also come to the Ox deity's maze in an attempt to seize one of the 9 souls of the Golden Crow of the Netherworld. However, they were still burned alive by the Golden Crow. Ling Xiao knew that the Mystic Snake sect was one of the 9 Supremes. The Mystic Snake sect had as many strong martial artists as there were clouds in the sky. The top martial artists were probably ridiculously powerful. Yet they were burned to death by one of the 10 souls of the Golden Crow. It was indeed terrifying. Although it was terrifying, Ling Xiao didn't plan to give up. Since the Devourer Demon Fetus and the Tao Tai Beast were both under his control, even if he had to give up the Arcana Academy selection, he would still consume the remnant soul of the Golden Crow. Young man, it seems that you want to give it a try. Forget it, I don't plan to stop you. From the moment you subdued the Devourer Demon Fetus, I already felt that I had underestimated you. You will definitely become the most terrifying existence in the Black Tortoise Continent. My only hope is that you won't become an existence that will bring disaster to the Black Tortoise Continent. After the lightning figure finished speaking, a bolt of lightning suddenly shot towards Ling Xiao's forehead. Don't resist. I will give you all that I have learned in my life. It's a pity that most of my energy has been consumed. There won't be much left for you. You still have to rely on yourself for your future cultivation. Hearing this, Ling Xiao naturally gave up resisting. On one hand, he believed in the lightning figure. On the other hand, he wasn't afraid of the other party's tricks at all. After all, his martial spirit of Tyrant and Taotai beast could wreak havoc on the lightning figure's soul. If anyone wanted to take over his body, then they had chosen the wrong person. As the last bit of the lightning humanoid's soul disappeared, Ling Xiao felt that his strength had increased by leaps and bounds. His strength was close to 100%, and he was about to break through the first transformation 7 layers of hell. As for the complete cultivation method of the lightning shield and the heavenly thunder divine guard that the lightning humanoid had mastered, he already knew it by heart. As for how to cultivate, he would think about it later. Now was not the time. What he wanted to do most now was to let the devourer demon fetus devour the remnant soul of the netherworld golden crow. Storage ring? When he was about to leave, he found a dusty storage ring on the table. Under the storage ring, there was a line of words carved on the table. The one who obtains my inheritance can have it. Ling Xiao picked up the storage ring and penetrated it with his soul power. He was immediately shocked. The storage ring was filled with spirit stones, and they were all mid-grade and high-grade spirit stones. There were more than 10 million medium spiritual stones. There were also nearly 1 million upper spiritual stones. Chapter 2551. What did the number of spirit stones in the storage ring mean? He would know after a comparison. It should be pointed out that an ordinary Yin-Yang realm martial artist at the 7th level of hell could only possess about 1 million medium spirit stones. They would be considered rich if they had tens of thousands of upper-grade spirit stones. However, Ling Xiao had 10 or even 100 times more than them. He had become a tycoon again. Ling Xiao was worried that he would need a large number of supplementary herbs to refine the blood spirit pills and thunder fire mango pills. He did not want to waste time collecting them, so he had to buy them. Some of the herbs could only be bought with mid-grade spirit stones. He was worried that he did not have enough spirit stones. But what was there to worry about now? After taking the items in the storage ring, Ling Xiao did not take the storage ring away. Instead, he used the divine fire to melt it. He hoped that it could accompany the senior forever. After all, the senior had given him so many benefits, but he could not repay anything. This was a small compensation. After leaving this place, he returned to the study. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death were sitting cross-legged and cultivating. Ling Xiao did not disturb them. He just put away the remaining martial arts manuals. It was not important whether they were cultivating or not. What was important was that these martial arts manuals could make Ascension Town rise quickly and surpass any sect in the 8 Immortals County. This was the key. Ling Xiao, Brother Ling Xiao, have you chosen your manuals? Ling Xiao asked. Yes, but there is too much time. I can't comprehend them yet. Lin Ruoxian replied. Don't worry. Let's get out of here first. The Ox God Mei's battle should be over soon. We really don't have time to cultivate here. Ling Xiao planned to let Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death leave first after they got out of here. He would search for the remnant soul of the 9 Nether Yellow Springs Golden Crow alone. However, when they got outside, the 2 women refused to agree, no matter what. They said they would share blessings and hardships together. Ling Xiao did not have time to persuade them. He put the corpse of the violet Thunder Bull into the mountain river world and turned it into a violet Thunder Bull Beast soul. It was embedded in the Ox God throne. The violet Thunder Bull Beast soul was even higher than the 9 Snake General Beast soul. It was first cycle nonary life seizing. Ling Xiao would not be able to use the Beast soul as he wished, but it was a good thing he had the Cow God Beast soul that allowed him to use the purple lightning Cow God Beast soul. Although it could not unleash its full power, it was still not weaker than the first cycle of the 7 hells. Of course, the steel-armored bull magical beast soul from before was useless. Ling Xiao directly swallowed it, and it became a part of his strength. The purple lightning bull beast soul also had a special ability called Earthquake. This was a terrifying ability that could cause the ground to tremble and even change the terrain. Although it was not powerful enough to kill, it could still knock opponents unconscious. Even though the purple lightning bull's godly text had been taken away, Ling Xiao was still using the corpse as a tool to strengthen himself. Unfortunately, it had no more power and could not make any breakthroughs. Even so, Ling Xiao felt that he was the luckiest this time around. On his way to the 9 Serenities Yellow Springs, where the discarnate soul of the Golden Crow was sealed, he went through his gains. First of all, he had obtained the beast soul of the Ox God. This was the biggest reward. Not only would the beast soul of the Ox God make him extremely powerful in the future, but it would also make the beast soul of the Ox God even more powerful. In addition, the power of the Ox God beast soul had seeped into his cells, increasing his potential by leaps and bounds. In the future, his cultivation base would rise even faster when he fought powerful opponents. He had also acquired the Blood Spirit Fruit Tree and the Lightning Fire Mang Fruit Tree. Needless to say, the Blood Spirit Fruit Tree could be refined into a Blood Spirit pill. It would be a life-saving pill and could also strengthen his body. There was no upper limit to the toughness of his body. Ling Xiao knew that his body was already very strong, comparable to an immortal grade spiritual weapon. However, as long as someone was strong enough or had a divine grade spiritual weapon, they could still hurt him. Therefore, he had to be stronger. As for the Lightning Fire Mang Fruit Tree, not only could it increase the power of his lightning battle body, but it could also evolve into the violent lightning battle body. Thirdly, he had acquired the true inheritance of the Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor. Both the Lightning Shield and the Heavenly Thunder Divine Guard were complete and could be cultivated to the transcendent state. As for the Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor's inheritance that Lin Yuetian had acquired, it was not complete. At most, it could be cultivated to the greater success stage. Currently, the Lightning Shield was at the first heaven of the immortal grade. Its defense was naturally very strong, even stronger than the top-tier lightning battle body. As for the Heavenly Thunder Divine Guard, it was even more so. Currently, it was at the second heaven of the immortal grade. Once cultivated, one could form the Heavenly Thunder Divine Guard. It was currently Ling Xiao's most powerful move. The Heavenly Thunder Divine Guard had 50% of Ling Xiao's attack power and could form one Divine Guard. Proficiency was 60% of the attack power and could form 2 Heavenly Thunder Divine Guards. Greater success was 70% of the attack power and could form 4 Heavenly Thunder Divine Guards. Perfection was 80% of the attack power and could form 8 Heavenly Thunder Divine Guards. At the Transcendent state, it was terrifying. With 90% of the attack power, one could form 32 Heavenly Thunder Divine Guards. 32 Heavenly Thunder Divine Guards. How crazy was it to have 90% of Ling Xiao's attack power? Moreover, one of the 32 Heavenly Thunder Divine Guards could have 100% of Ling Xiao's combat power. That was even more terrifying. Of course, the Heavenly Thunder Divine Guards could not be equipped with magic treasures, and they had to constantly consume Ling Xiao's internal energy. So, the more clones he released, the more energy he would consume. Ling Xiao had to find a balance in the future. In addition to these 3 benefits, a large number of spiritual stones, the 9-snake General Beast Soul and the purple Thunderbull Beast Soul, were all of great help to Ling Xiao. Rumor has it that the Golden Crow of 9 Serenities is a black sun on the black tortoise continent. The light it emits feels cold, like the water of the Yellow Spring. But in fact, it is not cold at all. Its burning ability is not inferior to the other 9 Golden Crows. It can also roast the earth and cause all the plants to wither. This was information that Lin Ruoxian had read in a book before. Since she was bored on the way, she read it out to Ling Xiao. She did not want Ling Xiao to do something stupid when he was unprepared. Don't worry too much. The golden crow of 9 serenities that was suppressed in the maze by the ox god is only a part of its soul. Ling Xiao smiled and said, "If there is really danger, I will naturally give up. But if I don't even dare to take a look because of fear, it will be a pity." Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death just kept silent. No matter what, if there was really danger, they would drag Ling Xiao away even if they had to. Chapter 2552. Over there. Finally, following the guidance of the lightning figure, the 3 of them arrived at a place as cold as the Yellow Springs. Ling Xiao released his divine fire to ward off the chill, and the 3 of them felt a little more comfortable. Without the protection of the divine fire, there was no way to enter this damned place. Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death could only wait outside. "If I don't come out at the last minute, you can leave. The alchemy formation stone I gave you has a teleportation array that can teleport you directly to the exit of the Ox God's maze." After Ling Xiao finished speaking, he stepped into the bone-chilling 9 Nether Yellow Springs. He didn't know what the real 9 Nether Yellow Springs was, but the temperature in this place was extremely low. No wonder even if the golden crow of the 9 underworlds was here, no one could get it. Lin Ruoxian and Yu Shang didn't leave. There were some things that they would listen to, but there were some that they wouldn't. If Ling Xiao didn't come out at the last minute, they would rather barge in to save him. At worst, they would die together. Of course, Ling Xiao didn't have time to think about this at this moment. In the coldest abyss, he saw a golden crow flapping its wings. Its entire body was golden, but it was constantly releasing black flames. There were 81 seals on the golden crow's body, just like the devouring demon fetus. This caused its energy to become quiet, but Ling Xiao knew that this was just an illusion. Once the seals were removed, this golden crow would become extremely ferocious and powerful. He guessed that those cultivators who died under its flames were killed in this way. The moment Ling Xiao got close to the golden crow of the 9 underworlds, he seemed to see a strange illusion. A black sun in the sky was scorching the earth. People called it the 9 underworlds Black Sunday wherever the light of the black sun shone. That place would become hell on earth. There was no blood, only a burnt smell. The ground was littered with corpses that looked like burnt oil. It was simply a tragedy. What a terrifying 9 underworlds Black Sunday. The Sand Race's martial arts seem to be related to this black sun, but it's just a superficial part of it. If I can really devour the complete 9 nether black sun, how powerful will my external incarnation be? Thinking of this, Ling Xiao couldn't help but feel a little excited. He took a deep breath and unleashed the crimson sun feather robe. His body was enveloped in a layer of feather robe condensed from the divine flame and the crimson sun. Although the golden crow was powerful, it was still inferior to the divine flame. After all, even in the entire profound world, the 12 divine fires were the strongest flames. It was a terrifying flame that was born when the heavens and earth were born. Others might not be able to get close to this golden crow remnant soul, but Ling Xiao was fearless. At that moment, the golden crow remnant soul was sealed. Ling Xiao's idea was to let the devil fetus devour it first. Then, the seal within the devil fetus would be undone bit by bit. In this way, the danger of devouring the devil fetus would be minimized. Of course, the speed would also be much slower, but he didn't care, as long as he could devour the golden crow's remnant soul. His external incarnation would become incomparably powerful and would be of great help in the future. Little cutie, devour it. With a thought from Ling Xiao, a strange black vortex appeared on the surface of the devil fetus body. Like a black hole, it began to tear apart the surrounding energy. The golden crow remnant soul seemed to sense danger and began to release energy frantically in an attempt to destroy the seal on its body. However, it was useless. This seal was placed by the ox god. How could the golden crow remnant soul of the 9 serenities Yellow Springs break it? However, a large amount of energy flew out from the cracks in the seal. If it were an ordinary martial artist, no matter how strong their cultivation, they would probably be burned to ashes by now. But Ling Xiao was different. He wrapped the released energy in the divine flame and then sent it into the devil fetus body. His divine flame was controlled by his mind and naturally would not harm the devil fetus. And the energy released by the golden crow could not harm the devil fetus through the divine flame. It could only be rapidly absorbed by the devil fetus. After a while, Ling Xiao realized that he had underestimated the devouring devil fetus. As long as the golden crow of the 9 Serenities Yellow Springs was not here, there was no way it could do anything to the devouring devil fetus. He smiled and directly broke the first seal. As he broke the seal, he observed the devil fetus condition. After confirming that there was no problem, he continued to break the second seal. Soon, half an hour passed. Finally, the last seal was completely broken. However, the golden crow remnant soul could no longer resist the devouring devil fetus. It did not have much energy left. It was easily absorbed by the devouring devil fetus. As the golden crow of the 9 Serenities Yellow Springs was completely devoured, the strange coldness in the surroundings gradually disappeared. However, Ling Xiao did not care about this. He just quietly felt the changes in the devil fetus. After devouring such a powerful thing, the devil fetus should have grown. It's coming. He could clearly feel that the devil fetus cells were constantly metabolizing and its body was rapidly growing. It had been sealed for so many years and had not eaten anything. Now that it had such a delicious meal, all the cells of the devil fetus were crying out in joy. Gradually, the protective shell on the surface of the devil fetus shattered. A ferocious black flame gushed out. Ling Xiao looked at the thing inside in surprise. It was a little beauty wearing a black dress. She had a pair of demon horns on her head, a pair of black demon wings on her back, and a demon tail about a foot long. So this is my avatar? It's actually a woman. Ling Xiao felt a chill run down his spine. However, after a while he calmed down. An avatar was different from an avatar. It could be a devil or a monster. In fact, both men and women were very normal. It was said that there were powerful people who could create thousands of clones, including children, women, and the elderly. Most importantly, this little demoness in front of him was really exquisite. The black muslin dress on her body was probably also condensed from flames. Perhaps because she had the devil fetus memories, this little demoness appeared very evil. However, she was also controlled by Ling Xiao's consciousness, so she appeared very close and familiar with Ling Xiao. It is said that clones have independent personalities, but they are completely connected to the master. They are more loyal than the most loyal pets. It seems like that is the case. Ling Xiao smiled and looked at the little demoness. I'll call you little demoness from now on. He gave his avatar a name. Thank you, master, for giving me a name. The little demoness actually spoke. However, Ling Xiao was not surprised. Ling Xiao's avatar was an independent personality to begin with. In addition, Ling Xiao had integrated the soul of the devil fetus into his divine sense, which made little devil's self-awareness even stronger. She would be smarter and more powerful in cultivation. As for loyalty, there was no problem. Perhaps the only side effect was that she might do something spontaneously because of her excessive self-awareness. Of course, these things would not harm Ling Xiao. Chapter 2553. It's getting late. Let's go. Follow me and don't run around. Ling Xiao could control the actions of his avatar with just a thought, but he still liked to talk. Perhaps it was more intimate this way. Ling Xiao wouldn't reveal the identity of the little demoness for the time being. He would just treat it as saving a demon in the ox god's maze. Although demons weren't liked by the clans of the sealed world, such a little girl shouldn't be a problem. Besides, this little girl was now stronger than Ling Xiao, so he didn't need to worry about her. The little demoness current strength was equivalent to the early stage of the 8th layer of hell, and she hadn't completely digested the golden crow remnant soul. Once she completely digested it, her strength would increase tremendously. With this kind of strength, not to mention Ling Xiao, even the 13th prince would be killed in an instant. So Ling Xiao really didn't need to worry about her safety at all. Besides, this was his avatar. It was meant to fight for him, so he couldn't get it wrong. What a beautiful little girl. Outside, Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death were stunned when they saw a well-behaved little girl following behind Ling Xiao. But a moment later, Moon Death picked up the little demoness. If it were a stranger hugging her, she would have turned into ashes by now. I just went in and saw this little girl, but she actually swallowed the golden crow remnant soul. I suspect that it's the devil fetus transformation, but you don't have to worry. She listens to me. Ling Xiao explained in a half-serious manner. If he told Lin Ruoxian and Moon Death that this was his avatar, it would feel a little weird. Anyway, it wasn't something important. It didn't make a difference whether he said it or not. Let's go. We can go out now. After so long, it's time to end this fight. Ling Xiao smiled and led Lin Ruoxian, Moon Death, and the little demoness to the exit. At this moment, at the exit, a lively battle was taking place. Lin Yuetian and the disciples of the 8 Immortal Mountain were surrounded by the Tianfeng group and the Duke of Yu's residence. There was no way Chun Beixian would let Lin Yuetian take away the heritage of the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor. Therefore, he would never allow it. The 8 Immortals Mountain was in a bit of trouble. Lin Yuetian was clearly injured. The remaining 5 people were also heavily injured. They were now resisting stubbornly. On the other hand, the Heavenly Wind group was in high spirits. The people from the Duke of Yu's mansion were not that happy. They were willing to help Chen Beixian deal with the 8 Immortal Mountain because Ling Xiao had severely injured Xiaofeng Wanyue. They did it for revenge. Only the Heavenly Wind group suffered the least loss, but gained the most. Chun Xianfeng had already received the inheritance, and it was only second to the inheritance of General Nine Snake and General Lun Yu. Other than the Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor and the Divine Ox Beast Soul, he felt that this was the strongest. Now, as long as the Heavenly Wind group could snatch the inheritance of the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor from Lin Yuetian, they would be the biggest winner. It was a shame that Ling Xiao was dead and they didn't know where the Divine Ox Beast Soul was. Otherwise, they would have had a better ending. Lin Yuetian, don't be so stubborn. Hand over the inheritance of the Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor, and I can spare your life and let you leave safely. Otherwise, don't blame me for killing all of you. Anyway, I'll kill you all and frame Ling Xiao for it. Many people will believe me. Chun Beixian looked at Lin Yuetian coldly. They had been fighting for half an hour. Lin Yuetian was a tough nut to crack. He was not easy to deal with. However, Chun Beixian was confident that he could kill more time. He would not give up until the very last moment. Young sect master, don't worry about us. Leave now. With the inheritance of the Heavenly Thunder Sacred Emperor, you can at least become a disciple of the Arcana Academy. Then, even if the Duke of Yu's mansion becomes the ruler of the 8 Immortals County, they will not dare to bully us. Kong Yu shouted. Lin Yuetian rolled his eyes. To be honest, he did want to leave. However, with Chun Beixian watching him closely, there was no way he could leave. 5 of you, do me a favor. A vicious light flashed in Lin Yuetian's eyes as he said, Young sect master, as long as we can help you defend the honor of the 8 Immortals Mountain, we will do it. Kong Yu said. The other 4 nodded in agreement. Very well. As you all know, the sect master came from the dragon cult and has learned some special secret arts. One of them is the blood sacrifice of the demon dragon. The 5 of you will sacrifice your lives to strengthen my demon dragon martial spirit. That way, Chun Beixian will not be able to stop me. Lin Yuetian said, What? Young sect master, you want to kill us? Lin Tang was startled and exclaimed, "Don't say that. You can sacrifice everything for the glory of the 8 Immortals Mountain. Why can't you sacrifice your lives?" Lin Yuetian's face contorted into a grimace as he flashed to Lin Tang's side. The demon dragon martial spirit swallowed Lin Ting up. "No, I don't want to die. Lin Yuetian, you bastard!" Lin Ting screamed, "I don't want to be killed by my own people." However, his screams were meaningless. His body slowly dried up and turned into a dried corpse. Lin Yuetian's power had increased significantly, although this was only temporary to him. As long as he could step out of the ox deity's maze, that was enough. As long as he could get out of the maze, Chen Beixian would not be able to do anything to him. "It's useless. Do you really think I will let you get stronger?" Chen Beixian saw through Lin Yuetian's plan, so he suddenly transformed into a beast warrior. Lin Yuetian was still enjoying his meal when he slammed him to the ground. Lin Yuetian was no match for Chen Beixian in the first place. He had to rely on the help of the other 5 to survive. However, the sight of Chen Beixian killing Lin Tang had chilled the other 5 to the bone. Therefore, they didn't help. This time, Chen Beixian's attack landed on Lin Yuetian. "Great senior brother, long live the Heavenly Wind Group. From now on, the 8 Immortals County will belong to the Heavenly Wind Group." Everyone in the Heavenly Wind Group knew that the 100,000 Prince wanted to hand over the 8 Immortals County to the Duke of Yu's mansion. However, Xiaofeng Wanyue was already a cripple. Without a future, the Duke of Yu's mansion was no match for the Heavenly Wind Group. That's right. From now on, the 8 Immortals County will no longer belong to the 8 Immortals Mountain. How dare those idiots! Seeing that Lin Yuetian had been subdued, the Heavenly Wind Group cheered. Shouldn't we have listened to Lin Yuetian? Kong Yu heard the cheers and sighed. If Lin Yuetian had escaped, the 8 Immortals Mountain wouldn't have been humiliated like this. Save it, Kong Yu. Lin Yuetian would even kill his own people. Besides, Lin Ting is his most loyal friend. I will not sacrifice myself for him. Chapter 2554. Sigh. But from now on, the 8 Immortal Mountain will not be able to raise our heads in the 8 Immortal County. What is Ling Xiao doing? Isn't he very powerful? He's so good at dealing with his own people. But he can't deal with Chen Beixian? Xianran heaved a sigh and was a little unhappy. Don't talk nonsense. Haven't you heard? Ling Xiao not only crippled Xiaofeng Wanyue, but also took away the divine ox beast soul. He only disappeared during the battle with the Holy Emperor. Lin Yuetian and Ling Xiao are just taking advantage of the situation. Anyway, the time hasn't passed yet. I believe that Ling Xiao is still alive. The Zhen clan had always admired powerful people. Zhen Hai was very impressed by Ling Xiao's performance, so he firmly believed that Ling Xiao was not dead. Maybe Ling Xiao will become the last hope of the 8 Immortal Mountain. Kong Yu sighed. He had never thought that Ling Xiao, who had always been regarded as a traitor of the 8 Immortal Mountain, would become the last hope of the 8 Immortal Mountain. This was a little embarrassing. Ha ha ha, you put your hope on that arrogant guy. Let me tell you, he won't appear. Even if he does, I can kill him immediately. Chen Beixian laughed wildly. Is that so? A voice suddenly sounded. Chen Beixian suddenly looked back. Ling Xiao. Everyone stared in shock at the 4 figures that had suddenly appeared. 3 women and a man. That man, if not Ling Xiao, who else could it be? He's really not dead. Xianran didn't know whether she was happy or helpless. Her mood was very complicated. She had been suppressed by Lin Ruoxian in the Snake Clan. She thought that if Lin Ruoxian and Ling Xiao died together, she would become the top girl of the Snake Clan, so she felt helpless. However, the appearance of Ling Xiao and Lin Ruoxian made the despair of the 8 Immortal Mountain burn again. Maybe there was hope. Kong Yu, Zhen Hai, and Akira Toriyama felt the same way. They used to be enemies with Ling Xiao, but now they hoped that Ling Xiao would become their savior. It was a strange feeling. Chun Beixian paused for a second, and then he stomped on Lin Yuetian's arms. Ling Xiao's appearance made him feel a little surprised, but he did not change what he had to do. He just needed to speed. After snatching the inheritance of Holy Emperor Tianlei, he still wanted the divine ox beast soul. Lin Yuetian, you better think it through. If you don't give me the inheritance now, I'll cripple your cultivation and you'll be a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Don't forget that you have enmity with Ling Xiao. Chun Beixian was really good at picking out people's weaknesses. Lin Yuetian had no choice but to admit defeat. There was nothing he could do since he was weaker than the other party. A. 2. To kill, to two. To be. Him. Lin Yuetian said. Of course. He sneaked into the Heavenly Wind group and stole the secret art. Did he really think his plan was flawless? We can't kill him outside, but we have to kill him in here. Chen Beixian had received Qin Chongqing's order to kill Ling Xiao. After all, Ling Xiao had not only killed Chen Chongqing's son, but also stole the secret art of the Thunder Body from the Heavenly Wind group. How could the Heavenly Wind group forgive him? They didn't dare to kill him outside because of the Divine Codex. However, inside the Ox Divine Maze, they had nothing to fear. Finally, Lin Yuetian gave the Heavenly Thunder Divine Ox Beast Soul to Qin Beixian. Then he went to the side to heal his wounds. After Qin Beixian received the Heavenly Thunder Divine Ox Beast Soul, he stretched his body and said, Ling Xiao, I am very happy that you are here. I can finally get the Ox Divine Ox Beast Soul back. I really don't know if you are confident or arrogant. Ling Xiao waved his hand and said, Sister Ruoxian, Moon Death and Little Devil don't interfere. Qin Beixian is mine. He needed the last chance to break through. Chun Beixian was a good opponent. After all, Chun Beixian was only one step away from the early stage of the 7th level of Hell, the Yin-Yang First Transformation. Ha ha ha. I have heard that you are a reckless person. Now I see that you are right. Do you think you can injure me with Dawn Wind Waning Moon's poison mist? Qin Beixian laughed and said disdainfully, I am the number 1 on the genius roll, the most powerful genius in the 8 Immortals County. Yes, yes, yes. You are the number 1. But I like to kill the number 1. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. This guy is crazy. Those who didn't know Ling Xiao well thought that Ling Xiao had lost his mind. Kong Yu even shouted, Ling Xiao, you have the Space Blue Book. You can just teleport out and we will win. Why do you want to die? Yeah, you are no match for Qin Beixian. Akira Toriyama said. If he wants to die, can you stop him? Don't you know his temper? Lin Yuetian sneered. Ignorant fool, he'll soon know what fear is. Ling Xiao shot Lin Yuetian a disdainful look and said, Useless piece of trash. I can't believe you are hailed as the number 1 prodigy of the 8 Immortal Mountain. Even Qin Beixian couldn't defeat you. Let me show you what a true prodigy is. You. Lin Yuetian was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was already injured. Brother Lin, don't be so angry. I will take care of this kid for you. You think you are invincible just because you defeated Xiaofeng Wanyue? What a joke. The number 1 on the genius roll was very angry that Ling Xiao looked down on him. Under the influence of new and old grudges, he was determined to kill Ling Xiao in the most brilliant way possible. Don't be so cocky. I killed the purple lightning bull, and you took advantage of it. Do you think I am that easy to take advantage of? I will pay a price for it. Ling Xiao hooked his finger and said, Let's cut the crap. Let me see how strong you are as the number 1 on the genius ranking. Eldest senior brother, beat him up. Beat him up so badly that even his own mother won't recognize him. The members of the Heavenly Wind group couldn't stand it anymore. Ling Xiao dared to slander the senior brother of the Heavenly Wind Group. Kill him! The members of the Duke Yu family shouted. They knew that they were no match for Ling Xiao, so they hoped that Chun Beixian could avenge Xiaofeng Wanyue. This Ling Xiao, Sai, he is such a maverick. Kong Yu shook his head and let out a wry smile. He didn't believe that Ling Xiao was a match for Chun Beixian. It was already a miracle that Ling Xiao could surpass them. How could he surpass Chun Beixian? The other three basically had the same idea. They felt a little awkward. Seeing their hope slipping away from their fingers, they felt depressed. However, they all understood Ling Xiao's character. Once he had decided on something, he would not take it back. Did you hear that? The cheers of the crowd are so loud. Today, I will beat you up so badly that even your own mother won't recognize you. Chun Beixian finally moved. Maybe it was because he looked down on Ling Xiao. Chapter 25:55. Chun Beixian's body turned into a blur as he flashed across the sky. Moon howling heavenly wolf fist, flying shadow. Chun Beixian's attack was fast and powerful. Chun Beixian had used his most powerful jade-level martial art right from the get-go. Ling Xiao didn't move. He just stood there and took the blow. Are you trying to tickle me? He was deliberately enduring the opponent's ferocious attack. Chun Beixian's attack couldn't kill him, but it could make him unleash his potential. That way, he would be able to achieve a breakthrough. This scene left everyone dumbfounded. Although Chun Beixian hadn't used all of his strength, Ling Xiao didn't even try to block the attack. Ling Xiao didn't seem to be injured at all. It was unbelievable. Chun Beixian's face flushed red. He was enraged. His arrogance made him unable to accept such humiliation. Ling Xiao, you really know how to provoke people. Since you want to die so badly, I will fulfill your wish. Heavenly Wolf, Beast, Soul, Transformation. Chun Beixian finally transformed into a beast warrior again. His body was covered with a layer of ferocious armor. He looked at Ling Xiao coldly and said, "Poor man, you should feel honored because you will die under my Heavenly Wolf, Beast, Soul transformation. Why didn't you transform earlier? You look quite powerful now, but don't just look like an embroidered pillow." Ling Xiao gave Chun Beixian a disdainful look. He could feel that Chun Beixian's combat power had increased by almost 20 times after the transformation, although he still couldn't reach the 7th level of hell of the yin-yang state. But he wasn't far behind. Ling Xiao's disdain enraged Chun Beixian again. His sky-blue eyes turned crimson red. No one had ever dared to provoke him like this. This filled him with anger and mania. Ah! Chun Beixian didn't say a word. Instead, he let out a howl like a wolf. Suddenly, countless trees around him snapped. Some martial artists didn't have time to block out the sound, and their ears started to bleed. Kill! The Heavenly Wolf, Beast, Soul, Transformation roared. Chun Beixian jumped to his feet. The ground beneath his feet instantly cracked open. In the blink of an eye, he appeared above Ling Xiao's head. The terrifying giant claw slapped towards Ling Xiao's forehead. He wanted to smash Ling Xiao's head into pieces. This might is not bad, just nice to help me break through. Ling Xiao did not use his beast soul transformation at all. He was still in his original form. He raised his hands to block. Boom! There was a huge roar. Ling Xiao's body was smashed almost a meter deep into the ground. Ha ha ha! The Heavenly Wolf transformation is indeed powerful. Ling Xiao is finished. This is eldest senior brother's true strength. That move just now was really nothing. At this moment, the warriors of the Heavenly Wind Group were excited once again. Seeing Ling Xiao being abused, they were naturally overjoyed. Why didn't Ling Xiao transform? Isn't he also a beast warrior? Kong Yu frowned, very puzzled. Maybe he didn't have a chance. Look at Chun Beixian's continuous attacks. He didn't give him a chance at all. Shi Yanran explained. At this time, the battle was still going on. Ling Xiao was obviously suppressed. He could only defend and had no room to fight back. However, what was strange was that Ling Xiao's face had a hint of excitement. Is that guy a masochist? Everyone was speechless. In fact, to some extent, this was not wrong. If the opponent couldn't kill Ling Xiao, then the more powerful the attack, the more Ling Xiao would like it, because it would help him improve his strength. Suddenly, Chen Beixian threw Ling Xiao out and then stopped attacking. Trash, you are also a beast warrior. I will give you a chance. Transform. Otherwise, if I beat you, people will say that I am a bully. Do you really want me to transform? Ling Xiao smiled and said, Once I transform, this battle will be completely without suspense. You will have no chance. What a joke! Your transformation is just that guy with 9 snake heads. It is powerful, but what's the point? Qin Beixian said disdainfully. Who told you that I only have 1 transformation? Ling Xiao patted the dust off his body. He directly ate a blood spirit fruit. Chen Beixian's attack was still very fierce. It broke a lot of bones in his body and damaged his internal organs. Even his life, martial spirit didn't have time to recover. This blood spirit fruit was naturally a must. Blood spirit fruit. Where did you get it? Chen Beixian was quite knowledgeable. He could tell what the fruit in Ling Xiao's hand was at a glance. It's none of your business. Ling Xiao ate the blood spirit fruit and his injuries were healed. He also felt that the door of the 7 layers of hell had opened for him. Soon, however, it was meaningless to continue to take the attacks. Qin Beixian's attack power was so weak now that it was useless to continue. He had to find a stronger opponent. He began to transform. Purple Thunder Bull Beast Soul Transformation. Ling Xiao's appearance was exactly the same as the Sacred Emperor of Heavenly Thunder. Lightning flashed all over his body, and a pair of huge shining horns grew out of his head. This startled everyone, including Qin Beixian. Qin Beixian even took a few steps back. Sacred Emperor of Heavenly Thunder, don't be afraid. It's just a beast soul transformation. I'm not as powerful as the Sacred Emperor of Heavenly Thunder. Ling Xiao smiled and said, Do you really think that you're the Heavenly Thunder Holy Emperor just because you're like this? Go to hell. Chen Beixian was humiliated again. He couldn't believe that he was scared by Ling Xiao's beast soul transformation. This was unforgivable. He threw out a punch in the form of the Heavenly Wolf. It was still the moon-howling Heavenly Wolf fist, but it was much more powerful. For a moment, the earth shook. Sand and stones flew. The scene was shocking. Ling Xiao sneered. He didn't use any martial skills and directly punched out. The fist was surrounded by lightning. Qin Beixian was sent flying by the impact. Tisk tsk. No wonder the beast soul of the divine ox guard is so powerful. Ling Xiao was still exclaiming, but everyone's eyes were about to fall out of their sockets. Is he really more powerful than Chen Beixian? This thought came to everyone's mind for the first time. Even the martial artists of the Heavenly Wind Group were shocked. He used to be a nobody, but now he was so powerful that he could send Chen Beixian flying with a single punch. How did this guy do it? Miracle. Legendary. Kong Yu, Zhan Hai, Shi Yanran, and Akira Toriyama originally had some opinions about Ling Xiao. They thought that he was taking advantage of his master's power to do evil. However, they suddenly realized that Ling Xiao was not arrogant because of his master. It was because he was arrogant and talented enough that he was chosen by such a master. They had been wrong about the cause and effect. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.